and Gold here, 610 Sports Radio, 610sports.com, and the Odyssey app. Cody Tapp with you. Alex will be back on Thursday, so my guy Jay Binkley in for the next 2 days on the show. Quentin running the board. How are you, fellas? How you doing, Bink?
What's going on, Code Man? What's going on, Quentin?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Today will be better than Friday. You won't be throwing phone call after me.
Nope,
so
no phone
today's going to
calls.
be great.
Don't
It's going to
even
be a
have to
good
figure
day.
out the phone, I don't think.
Every
Good
day is
Tuesday.
supposed to be better than the day before.
The phones were a challenge on Friday. We had him on like 6 different phone calls. People were calling in,
They
wishing
can be.
Nick a goodbye on his final day. But yeah, you know, sometimes we got to work through those things, Bink.
Still can't believe Nick's gone, huh? It's weird being here without Nick.
I sent him a text yesterday and asked him how his first day at his new job went. I was like, hey, man, how'd your first day at the new job go? And he said, it's fine, just onboarding and stuff. He said, how was the first day without me? Does the show suck now? I was like, okay, man, look. I said Chiefsaholic got arrested. The show was great.
Is that one of the things that when you get injured, like when Barry Zito, remember when he didn't make the postseason roster for the Giants?
Yeah.
He was like rooting against them, even though he did win a ring with them.
You think
in
Nick? But Nick.
2012?
So should we be rooting against Nick,
No,
or should he
I'm
be
just-
rooting against
vice
us?
versa. He root against you. I'm just kidding. He's not going to do that. But you know, some people do that with certain teams.
I might root against Nick. We'll see. I'm not ruling it out.
You want to be ready for the first reckless speculation of the day?
Sure.
Okay, reckless speculation. The first day that Nick's gone, Chiefsaholic was caught. So maybe Nick was out on the prowl for Chiefsaholic.
Oh, maybe he helped.
that
He
is true,
assisted the
isn't it?
federal government in catching one Chiefsaholic.
Maybe
Boy, I
your
read-
former producer was a snitch.
That's possible. I wouldn't rule that out.
Oh, the snitch line.
He always said, well, that's on Thursday. He was always seemed anti-snitch, but I don't rule it out for Nick under any circumstances. So he's certainly something to monitor when it comes to Nick, who is now no longer on the show. Hopefully I have an answer for you here soon about who our next producer of Cody and Gold will be.
Oh, just tell us.
The
man.
process is underway. Who could it be? I don't know yet.
Is it a hard process?
Here's the, I don't know, yeah. I mean,
Where's you at?
yeah. Honestly,
Deep
yes.
process.
It's,
Thorough process.
it's mentally
It's a tough choice.
grinding, you know? It's mentally grinding to
I remember
go through
when you
that.
went through with Nick.
I
You had
bordered-
to find the right guy, and you did.
But Nick was an easy choice. You know, this time it was a little more muddled. There were a lot of great candidates. Last time it was 4 losers and Nick. So, you know, I don't even remember who the 4 guys were. They were perfectly fine. But yeah, so, you know, one way or the other, we'll get this sorted. But I wanted to start today's show once again talking about DeAndre Hopkins, but not for the reasons that we have been, like what's the money or what are these situations going to be like that we're going to try to get into, and instead face the very clear reality that I think I've come to, and I'm curious if you guys have. I am now 100% convinced DeAndre Hopkins is going to end up a Kansas City Chief.
When?
I can't figure out why he would wait to sign with Tennessee or with New England unless he is just simply waiting to sign with Kansas City. Because I can tell you right now that it's just after Chris Jones gets signed. And the way that I think this is working is Brett Veach has given him a number. He had said, hey, we're going to sign Chris Jones. We think for about this much. Here's the range. I don't even care what the range is. Here's the range of what we can afford. So DeAndre Hopkins' team has an idea of what the Chiefs will pay him. And yet he's waiting. He's waiting to not sign that deal with Tennessee or waiting to not sign that deal with New England. Why? Because he's going to end up a Chief anyway, Bink. It feels like a foregone conclusion in my brain now. For the longest time I wavered. I didn't think he was going to be a Chief. But at this point, I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
I'm with you 100% because there's only 3 teams talking to him. It's not like they're flooding through where he's making all these visits. Remember when he opened Pandora's box that he visits Tennessee? Oh, man, here comes the visits. DeAndre Hopkins, here it comes. Oh, he's got one scheduled with New England. And then stops. Teams are getting ready for training camp. They've moved on. They looked at the roster, see what the roster is. But there are some teams waiting in the weeds. There just are. I think the Chiefs are definitely one of them. I wouldn't put it past the Bills to be another one of them. And some of these teams need to play keep away too. And New England is not opposed to playing keep away, but how interested DeAndre Hopkins? Because
But their numbers are out there. They've already offered.
He's one of the few guys when they say, well, at this point, we don't know what he's going to do, but wants to be with a winning culture, wants a good quarterback, wants to win, wants all these things. A lot of guys say that, but then it all comes down to the money. Which way is D-Hop going to be? Well, he is certainly waiting around, and I'll say this about the Chiefs, and I'm with you on the 100% thing. Not sure I'm quite at 100%, but heavily leaning in that direction, way over 90, is when the Chiefs want something, they get it. They do. If there's an item out there that they really want, it's like that family, man. It's like that family in your neighborhood.
Do you think when they really want it, it's just there's no
when
choice?
that dad is evaluating TVs or cars or grills, and he's researching and going through, all the
he's getting that
reviews,
Blackstone,
everything else, making the calls, see who's got it cheaper, waiting for Amazon Prime Day, whatever it is, waiting for it. But they spoke that way again with Odell. They spoke that way with DeAndre. And typically when the Chiefs want to go a certain direction, they do it. When they wanted to fix the offensive line right away, and they after that Super Bowl with the Buccaneers, and they bring in different linemen. Orlando Brown comes right over, which is crazy. The fact that Orlando Brown, with a rival of the Chiefs, the Ravens, and play tackle for him for a couple years. Now you may disagree how good he was or whatever, but they needed a left tackle. They got it with that, and they got Nick Bolton in the deal. And so that's a team that helped the Chiefs. The Bills helped the Chiefs. I think teams are out of the market now of helping the Chiefs, but they wanted Juju bad, and they didn't get him at first because he's in Pittsburgh. They wanted that bigger X receiver. The one thing DeAndre brings to him, and who knows, they could say the right things or whatever, but are you really, truly sold on your wide receiver room right now? Because there is some injury risk, and there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of question marks with that group. And you say, well, you got Mahomes, it doesn't matter. Well, why not make his job easier? The one thing about DeAndre Hopkins, name any situation, Cody, in the last decade where you could just go to a team that just won a Super Bowl in order to be number one of the number one wide receiver. Just walk right in and be the number one. It's not guessing, can Tony be a one? Can Sky Moore have elevated past MVS be a two? He's a one.
Now, look, I know that buries Sky Moore's growth potential or buries Rashee Rice's growth potential, probably more him than anyone else. But really just going to throw it less to Justin Watson and some of these other guys who are on the roster, or Richie James. It doesn't have to stop the young wide receivers from overtaking the middling guys who are on the roster as a safety net. So the text line, 816, I don't agree. I think he's going to go. I think he doesn't want to go to training camp. Typically, the way NFL players work is they're not trying to skip training camp. They're trying to skip literally all of it up until that moment. They don't really typically care about skipping training camp, even when it's difficult for Andy Reid. Yeah, because you know what they'll do is if he signs right now, they'll take it real slow with DeAndre for about a week. And what? You got to work for 2 weeks, then you get a preseason game, couple more weeks, then you start to the regular season.
Take his physical test, the running test, and all that. Yeah, and wait a couple days.
This isn't OTAs. And look, DeAndre still has to wait until the Chris Jones deal gets done. They cannot sign DeAndre Hopkins unless they extend Chris Jones first. And
he knows it.
There was some of the reporting out today. Jeff Darlington was saying that the Chiefs are still very confident they're going to sign Chris Jones to an extension. I think that this is the timeline our guy Nate Taylor had kind of consistently given for when he may or may not be available. So I think that's the case. I was really thinking about it last night. And when you listen to everything that's happened, so it's like, okay, the Titans are offering more than the Patriots, but the Patriots aren't offering too much less that they be out of the conversation. And then the only other reporting on this is Buddy's waiting on the Chiefs. Why wait? I mean, you know that you have a ballpark idea of what the Chiefs are offering because they know ballpark what they're going to give Chris Jones. They know in the range of what they can pay DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm very confident they have let him know the range in which they can pay DeAndre Hopkins. I think he wants to win for once. Maybe it's enough of a driving force to actually get him here. I know that it takes two parties. You'd mentioned Juju. Like, you can't just get everything you want because you want it. They wanted Juju the first year. They didn't get him. They wanted Odell Beckham the year that the Rams got him.
They're bringing Terrell in, who was waived and could have gone back to the Ravens. That's a position they wanted.
Yeah, so about half the time they've had success in getting that player kind of right away. And the Chiefs don't hide behind it, if you want to know the truth. You know when they want something and when they're going to target it. And that's what it feels like in this case. And to me, it's like, okay, so does DeAndre want this? I think he does because he's not signed. Like, that's why. That's why I think he wants it. I don't think he's just going to wait to sign with Tennessee and then skip training camp. I think he's waiting to find out if this Chris Jones deal is going to get done, which means we're waiting on what? Quinnen Williams? Yep. I think that's still what Chris Jones is waiting.
He's holding up. But here's the thing. Think about the quarterback situation, right? He goes to Tennessee or New England. I call it the Kelsey effect. And what I mean by the Kelsey effect is just like the article out there, could he make more money? Should he be more? Well, sure. But here's the thing. You don't host Saturday Night Live. You don't play in the match. You don't go to Reno Tahoe, which he is going to, I do believe, because he did last year. I'm assuming he's going to be there this weekend for that.
Probably safe
But you don't do this stuff. And the advertisements that come through and everything, unless you're on a winning team. But when you're on a winning team, your career is set going forward. Like, where would DeAndre Hopkins' best move just as a businessman be. Besides playing football, businessman beyond. It's like Travis Kelce signed with CAA a couple of months ago for his off-the-field adventures. They do a lot of stuff with actors and stuff like that. Why do he do that? He's with the Chiefs. Being with the Chiefs, you get the articles in GQ. You get to do that.
Yeah.
Like I said with the Saturday Night Live and all that, it sets you up for future endeavors. It's the Kelce effect. For DeAndre Hopkins, where he's getting to the twilight of his career, if he goes to New England or Tennessee, he could fall off into obscurity and be like,
he might be Julio Jones. You may never hear from his ass again.
It could be a Julio Jones, a great player like that, and boom, he comes to Kansas City. He and Travis Kelce are number 1 in catches since 2016, paired with another guy that's number 2 with Kelce. DeAndre Hopkins is the longest active streak catching in the NFL. Kelce number 2. So you get to pair that. You're with an MVP quarterback. You can shine. But not only that, you're playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. Everything opens up for you when you're looking at your career beyond football. This is a good business move for him. If he didn't want to just say, well, I could make more money going in for Tennessee, yes, but you play with the crappy quarterback, same in New England. What's the Kelce effect? How much can this set me up for my future? And I think that's starting to play in his mind.
And maybe, I don't know what his post-career is. He's obviously not doing the level of media stuff that Travis Kelce is doing now, but that doesn't mean that he can't. He's also earned way more than Travis Kelce.
If he was in Kansas City, he might be doing it.
He's probably made $30 million more than Travis. Travis Kelce's not even made $100 million in his playing career, which is bonkers because of the type of player that he is. But,
did you see that stat from Matt McMullen earlier? Only one pass catcher in the National Football League has at least 90 catches in the last 5 years. That person, Travis Kelce. Yeah. But DeAndre's right there, too. He's got the longest active streak in the NFL. But you don't hear from him in Arizona. It's kind of like a tree fall in the woods. Do you hear it if it falls? You know what I'm saying? You don't know you're in Arizona.
Well, the other thing is, those two teams can't win anything.
But they're everywhere. Like Mahomes and Kelce are like everywhere. That's what happens when you win. People pay attention to you. Look at the Chiefs. They were on the number 1 watch show in the history of television playing the Eagles. More people watched that than any other event on TV in the history of the United States.
But, that doesn't drive, and you and I both know this, is that we start having to guess on the individual interests of individual players because you don't know the ones who will take the pay cuts because they don't all do it. It's a very small percentage. Essentially, Travis Kelce's been underpaid the entire time he's been with the Kansas City Chiefs. But he's fine with it because he likes to win and wants to win and all of those things that kind of go in there.
The business side of it.
Yeah, he knows that his name, his approach, and he also knows that even if he's not making as much as he could, he's still going to make a pretty good chunk of money.
Playing in Arizona, he wouldn't be hosting Saturday Night Live.
No. He wouldn't have this massive podcast following because he's on the best team in the league. But I don't know if that's what drives DeAndre. I just know he hasn't signed. He hasn't signed. To me, that is an indicator that he's waiting on the Chiefs. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk about what the Royals are going to do that I think you need to go ahead and prepare for accordingly. Watching the home run derby last night, Bink?
Yeah.
You seem like you're happy with the way baseball or where baseball is headed right now.
You know what? I have been, and I remember yesterday when I was in there for CDOT and was talking about Major League Baseball and how surprised I am. And I know the draft's been like this last couple of years. And something you and I were talking about earlier before the show was because you've spent a lot of time at Kauffman Stadium, obviously, same as me. But where the beat writers would have to break off, go talk to Dayton Moore in the hallway on who they just drafted.
I had to do that when I was still covering the Royals.
So did I. Many times you go there in the hallway, Dayton Moore's talking. They make the announcement. Swanee would make the announcement. You go out to the hallway.
By the elevators, you'd spend like 3 minutes having him talk about Blake Mitchell.
Or Renee Francisco or somebody else from the team. You go talk to him. And then the beat writers, you got to worry about the draft pick. They mail it in or not, because then they're covering the baseball team as well versus the Twins on the night of the draft. So, let's make it a standalone event. And so they did it. But baseball is gradually been on the right track. I think playing at Williamsport when they did that for the College Little League World Series. I think when the Royals played the Tigers up at Omaha, these are things that need to continue.
Attendance is up because the rule changes, I think.
Is cool. Playing at Fort Bragg was cool. The game over in London, it's cool. You bring in a regular season game over there. But all the rule changes make it a more fan-friendly for the viewer. I still think the fans don't care if they buy the ticket going out there if it's a 3-hour game or whatever because they've driven to the game or whatever. But on TV, it's a faster game. You don't have the pitcher, Kenley Jansen, ended up at the mound where it takes forever to throw one pitch. Steps off the mound, back on it, by hitters going back and forth. So it's changed the game. The runner on second in extra innings. It's sped up the game. But that draft, and I've watched a lot of these because I like watching drafts, obviously. I like football the best, clearly. But the Major League Baseball took a little bit of lessons, not only in the broadcasting of it from the NFL.
They were trying.
There was a touch.
Although, do you see, Rob Manfred did not take a lesson from Roger
Rob
Goodell.
Manfred doesn't like being booed, but he needs to understand this is what commissioners do. They get booed.
He made such a snide face at everybody for getting booed at that thing.
He's probably upset because the baseball's changed. The tennis is up. People are actually liking what they're doing, and he's still getting
Sorry,
booed.
you're the commissioner.
It is.
You're the boss. Nobody likes the boss.
You got a team supposedly going to Las Vegas, and
and you just trashed their entire fan base.
Yeah.
You still can't be the hero, man.
but things are going in the right direction for baseball. The home run derby, always been a fan of it. Listen, there's still stars in it. This isn't like the slam dunk contest where you don't have the stars. There's still those guys in the home run derby were stars.
Yeah, Mookie Betts is one of the 3 best baseball players on the planet
would
right
be better
now.
to have Ohtani in it and get
Julio
yes.
Rodriguez is a really super exciting young player.
Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, and,
There were stars.
yeah, it's not.
Adolis Garcia, star.
Yeah, there's still people who are, I mean, obviously we'd like to see Shohei Ohtani in it, but they are better at getting their stars or some of their biggest name players in it. Way better than the dunk contest. Not even close. By a mile. Major League Baseball does that. The problem is, I was trying to factor all this in. Okay, how they're doing the draft, this thing. I actually do think baseball's heading in a good direction. I think the rule changes have been very big for them, but they can't settle for that because the one still missing element, I think, for a lot of casual fans of baseball is the velocity has gotten so out of control, it's taken the action out of the sport still. They were kind of hoping maybe making the pitchers work faster and getting rid of the shifts a little bit, and the numbers for balls in play is nearly identical. There is no difference. The stolen base numbers are up, right? You got a couple guys with 40 stolen bases at the All-Star break, right? Massive. So maybe a little more on the base paths, but less people still hitting the ball in play and then moving beyond that. And the other thing baseball is always going to have to do is highlight their stars. And I don't know why it's harder in baseball than it is the NBA or the NFL, but they've just struggled with it. Because they have, it's hard. So, we love Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, and he is doing things I've never seen a quarterback do too. It's not even, it's not comparable to what Shohei is doing. And even they can't if you can't make him the single biggest sports star on the planet, I don't know how to do it. It would be like Patrick Mahomes doing what he does at quarterback, but then also playing strong safety, really well, being pretty good at it. What was the coach at Texas that tried to make him a safety?
Mac Brown.
Mac Brown tried to make him a safety.
And RG3. And Johnny Manziel.
He's got to stop. What the hell?
He had a track record with safeties.
He's terrible at quarterback. He had 3
He's a good coach,
He had 3 NFL quarterbacks. You try to make them all safeties, man. It's you're a great athlete. Be a safety. You're no, why don't I just be a quarterback? I'm also really good at that. It turns out, Mac Brown. But it just, they can't. This is a mistake I feel like sports make a lot, where they get in a nice little comfy zone. And this is how they got themselves in trouble. They got a nice little comfy zone where things were going well, Bink, and then they stopped trying to innovate or change. And that's where they'll have to do it. I don't care if it's making the home run derby a little bit different or making, I think you'd mentioned maybe an in-season tournament, the way the NBA is going to add that. The NBA is going to try. All the ideas might not stick,
It would
Bink,
work for baseball.
but they're going to try.
Because you're playing. Here's the other thing, too, Cody. And this changed this year. When you talk about marketing stars, I think it does help that you're playing every team. Now, sometimes you're not going to those cities, but you're playing them. So every team in Major League Baseball, teams now play. You don't have to wait for the interleague series rotation to happen. You're playing every team, which I think helps the sport. It helps the sport that Ohtani can go to, places that he never
That
goes.
also
Or
helps
you wait
attendance.
Yeah, it does help
Because
attendance.
the NLAL thing, where
And
you want to see
LA
Ellie De La Cruz, who's in an NL, you might not have seen him for 3 years if
But
you
it
were
was
a Royals
exciting when
fan.
he came to Kansas City. He didn't do anything here. But the other night, Saturday night, everybody's talking about Ellie De La Cruz. Here's a Cincinnati Reds player. A team, by the way, had 7,300 fans 2 months ago at a game. And everybody's talking about him the way he got on first base, gets on second, gets on third, steals home because the pitcher's not paying attention. 2 pitches, he still steals 3 bases. People get to see him play.
And home.
This is an advantage of going and playing around. Now, as far as the home run derby, you don't want to get stale, and they've been doing this for a long time. The one thing I would add is a Legends division.
Do you think they can still
I
hit
bring
homers?
back. Oh, I do.
You think Griffey could still get homers out?
Absolutely. These guys step
How
in the
old
cage
is he?
and
Is
do
he
it.
50?
But you bring in Griffey, you have Bonds do it. We've always heard the legend of Ichiro in batting practice, even though during games he wouldn't hit home runs. Let him go out here. But a Legends division.
Being
You know,
Ken Griffey
eventually
Jr.
Mad
is-
Bum in it.
Ken Griffey Jr. is 53 years old. Are you going to give him an aluminum bat?
These guys can still hit, man.
I mean, but what's
They still throw. These older coaches still throw heat.
But are you going
They
to
still
watch?
hit. They step in the batting cage.
Are you going
They
to
don't
watch
lose it.
30 to 45 minutes of Ken Griffey Jr. getting like 3 homers out?
You'd have to shorten the time to
like
a
I mean,
minute
you
and a half.
got to get more.
You would have to shorten the time to like a minute and a half. You don't want to hurt him.
You give him an aluminum bat, and I'm listening.
You got to put it on. You got to advertise it better on social media.
You let
That's
him
what you
cork
have to
it.
do.
You let him go away. That's too big. I'm not talking about go back there and pump iron like Pete Alonso did before the event.
Mandatory steroids for the old timers who have
fine.
to
Or
go hit
have a
homers.
steroid instead of doing old timers. Just have a steroids section where you can just have guys that were on steroids.
A steroid era.
A steroid era home run
Clause.
derby. You're like McGuire, Sosa, Bonds.
You'd be like, remember
There's a
when
couple
baseball
more
was
guys you
really
could have
cool?
in it.
You know who should be the face of the steroid era? Even more than Bonds and McGuire and all those guys. Brady Anderson. And you're going to say, Cody, that's insane. Brady Anderson?
No, it's-
Look at his home
50.
run totals for every year of his damn career except the one time he used steroids. And tell me it shouldn't be Brady Anderson.
You know which team was the cleanest?
The Royals,
The
probably.
team that had a 36 home run record all through that era.
They should have cheated. I've made the argument. That was actually bad decision making by them. They should have all been using
If there's one team that was
steroids.
clean, it was the Kansas City Royals.
The entire league was using steroids. You should have also been using steroids. You put yourself at a massive competitive disadvantage
They needed
for
Brady
like
Anderson
10
numbers.
years.
If everybody's cheating, then no one's cheating.
Yeah, Aaron Giles should have hit like 45 home runs one year. Doesn't matter. They should have just given someone steroids. God, Brady Anderson. Here are his home run totals: 1, 0, 1, 4, 3, 2. Then all of a sudden he shows up with 21. Okay. What a big year for Brady Anderson. Big year. Back to 13 next year, then 12, then 16. You know, perfectly normal, not a good power hitter, but gets a few out in a year. Then he hit 50 for just no reason. He hit 50 home runs. He hit 20 one more time in his career. That's it. Just randomly showed up and hit 50 home runs. I don't even know if he got popped for steroids. 6'1", 199 pounds, and he hit out 50 home runs?
Huh?
Okay.
It's on a roll,
you tell me
man.
that wasn't steroids.
Sometimes that baseball just looks like a grapefruit, man. You're
You know,
just, you're just
take
popping
one
them
for
off.
the team, you set things up for life, you get that big contract, then you get off the roids and go back to normal.
Yeah. I mean, just...
You get the money, go back to normal.
I'm just worried, Bink, that your idea of the old timers one is they're not going to hit any homers. And it's going to be sad.
I would just say,
If I have to watch Ken Griffey Jr., one of my favorite baseball players of all time, a youth idol from a baseball player, if I have to watch him swing for 90 seconds,
Slick,
and
a little bit deeper.
if we're doing that, okay. Because if I have to watch him
Well, bring the fences in.
sit up there and struggle for a minute and a half and not hit a single home run, I'm going to be sad. That will be depressing.
Use a
So-
pitching machine.
Whatever it takes to make it easier, fine. Like, I definitely think make it easier. Give him the tightest wound baseball
Well,
you
Japan,
got,
they do
right?
a bunt off, right? At the All-Star game where they have targets,
Yeah.
and you bunt and you try to hit it on a different target.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they do have that in Japan baseball. That is
You
the
hit
most.
the target.
I can't even. I would almost watch it for the humor of it the first year, Bank, but it's not like I can do that every year.
So you wouldn't be interested in Ken Griffey Jr. stepping in
I would
in
just
Seattle.
interested, yes. Afraid that he wouldn't hit any home runs out, and then I would be sad. Then I would be sad to watch a childhood idol struggle.
Well,
So
you bring
mightily.
back a guy like Todd Frazier. You know, just bring back a Frazier. Just somebody that's been in the league 2 or 3 years.
I always wondered why. Like I always think
You
I'd
can
be.
have the Griffies, but 2 or 3 years.
I was thinking I'd be.
still had home runs.
I always think I'd be really tempted to be like a former professional athlete and then just go play like club sport. Like just like I'd be Ken Griffey Jr. I'd be 50 and then I'd go play like D League slow pitch softball and just absolutely rake on some fools just because for no other reason. But then it would be funny to me when we come back here on Cody and Gold. The Royals are going to do something, and I just want you to be mentally prepared for it.
Cody and Gold.
The Disgusting Brothers.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Kids playing in a lawn sprinkler. That's fun. Fire sprinklers. That's serious business. You seldom think about the fire sprinkler system in your commercial building, but Keller Fire and Safety thinks about sprinklers every workday, inspecting, testing, maintaining, repairing, ensuring that they'll work properly to protect people and property in case of a fire. Call Keller.
Keeping the fire marshal are so happy.
Since 1950.
Keller Fire and Safety.
KellerFire.com.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
At the Home Depot, we have laundry appliances that just fit your space, fit your needs, and fit your budget. Like a new GE Profile Ultra Fast Combo laundry machine that can wash and dry a large load in about 2 hours without you ever having to transfer the load over. Final days to get special buy savings like the GE Profile Ultra Fast Combo Laundry Machine, plus an extra $100 off select laundry sets. In-store and online at the Home Depot ends July 12th.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Being a baseball play-by-play broadcaster demands a blend of learned mechanics, intense preparation, and a calm sense of entertainment. How hard is it to do this job? Let's talk to the ones who do it. This is Matt Spiegel. My new podcast, The PBP, Voices of Baseball, will bring those conversations to you as the best working and former broadcasters tell you why and how they do it. New episodes come every Thursday all summer long. Follow The PBP, Voices of Baseball on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Max Motors. 9 major vehicle brands to choose from. MaxMotors.com.
Max Motors saved me thousands. I got a lot more for my trade, and they got me a low interest rate. I know I saved over $100 per month on my payment. It was worth the drive for me and my family.
Make it a smart buy and save thousands. MaxMotors.com.
I can't stop this feeling.
Really had to make sure my sound was off as we were coming back. Apparently, I had missed it until just now. Kadarius Toney was leaving some interesting voicemails in someone's Twitter DMs. It's not even like I feel like it impacts his play on the field, Bink. It's just, why, man? You're the best team in the NFL. You're an NFL football player. Maybe don't respond to idiots in DMs on Twitter.
You better
saying Daniel Jones misses my ass more.
You better walk with your hand.
Of course he does.
Hand down when you see Andy Reid in the hallway.
By the way,
just keep going.
Like, you know he's trolling you. You know how? Because he says you miss Daniel Jones. He's playing with Patrick Mahomes. He didn't miss Daniel Jones. No one's like, boy, I wish I could get back to Daniel Jones instead of Patrick Mahomes. Ever. That's never been said. You know he's messing with you. Just, and I know this is hard sometimes, just say nothing. Just say nothing.
It's hard sometimes, but when your head coach is Andy Reid, he didn't like you being involved in anything like this.
Nah, he would prefer your name stay out of this. And also, you're choosing a terrible week, Kadarius. I'm going to roll out a little thing about the old sports calendar for you. It is the Major League Baseball All-Star break. This is one of the few days a year in which there is not a single live game for any of the major sports in the entire United States. There is no NFL. There is no NBA. There is no NHL. There is no baseball. There's nothing. Nothing. It's one of the few days of the entire year in which there's absolutely nothing. Did you want to drop that voice? I can't even. By the way, you'd be like, hey, what did he say? Can I hear it? Nope. It would require a level of editing that I just very simply do not have the time for right now. And it would be like every other word would be a bleep. So you can find it.
It'd be like a Frank Clark interview.
Yeah.
Much different.
So, you know.
You wouldn't hear anything but beep, 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 beep.
I would just recommend when you know, like when you're with Andy Reid, I would just normally recommend avoiding these situations.
It blows my mind how star athletes, it seems maybe just as, you know, because I'm in the bubble of sports, but how star athletes like will get on Twitter and will clap back at people that don't matter or like don't play the sport. And it's like you're only causing yourself trouble. Is there like a moment where you're like, yeah, you know, at star Jets fan 65, man, I really got you. You know, I just don't understand the need to do it. And Kansas City's had a few guys over the last 5 years to clap back at people.
Look, I get it. I mean, Chris Jones once told Carrington to shut up, bitch. Is that what he said? I don't remember what it was. It's so funny.
That was Pickle or something like that. Or...
No, he said like...
Oh, that was... That wasn't Chris Jones. Who was that?
No, Chris Jones said that to Carrington on Twitter once.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he just said, shut your hoe ass. I don't remember what it was. But it's something like that, and it was hilarious, and we all had a good chuckle. Do I think, like, somebody's going to take this audio and they're going to be like, can you trust Kadarius Toney to be this team's leading wide receiver? I'm not even entertaining putting that anywhere close to this. I'm just saying it shows a lack of judgment. The end. Just don't do it, man. Quick tip.
Well, the
don't
problem
do
with
it.
clapbacks
Don't do
is
it.
this. I mean, these guys are ultra competitive. And oftentimes when you rustle the feathers of someone that's ultra competitive, you're going to get this. I mean, it's tough to bring that out of some people. You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting clapped on, you clap back because of, you know, who you are. You're ultra competitive. You want the last word. It could be tough. Like it is tough for those just to walk away and not say anything. Especially guys that have been there, done that, and want to be heard.
I get it. But essentially what we have here is one giant grouping of this, right? Like we have a text line full of people, and some of them say very mean things. Things that'd be easy to respond to. And
I
be
do
like,
sometimes.
Listen, dumbass. But I'm also not as famous as Kadarius Toney, and a screenshot of text is less bad than a voicemail. So just don't leave the voicemail.
If you're a clap back at anybody,
Me?
Anywhere in your life. When you went back and said,
I'm not a clapback guy, you know?
Okay.
I prove myself on the field. I like to show back with my actions, you know, with my play. I'm that instead, I guess. No, I was never a very good trash talker, as you could probably imagine.
Shut up, clown.
Shut your ass up, clown. That's such a good
clown.
That's
right. That's what it was. Didn't they have a T-shirt made of that?
Yeah. Carrington had one made. It was really good. We can talk more about that a little bit later on in the show. Plus, there's a pair of players I'm curious who thinks are more impactful we can get to coming up in 5 minutes. But I want to mentally prepare everyone for what I think is going to happen at the Major League Baseball trade deadline this year for the Royals. And I think you better prepare for them moving someone you would be surprised by. So just adjust yourself accordingly. When I say that, Bink, I'm not talking about the guys you would assume are going to go. Scott Barlow or one of these other guys. But, I'm talking about one of the pitchers or one of the young position players that you're used to on this team. I'm talking about Singer or Prado or Michael Garcia, or I think someone in that grouping is going to get traded for the Royals because I think the positioning they're in kind of requires it. They have enough young talent that they can't get them all on the field at the same time anyway, especially from a position player standpoint, that it actually starts to make logical sense that one of these guys would be on the move this year. And I think that they're going to have to show some aggressiveness because they need to acquire more players, and they have, even though they're not very good, a lot of attractive young talent to other teams because they haven't failed enough, Bink, for people to not believe in it. I feel like a surprise trade is coming from the Royals this year.
Well, and the one thing, too, is you can't discount what other teams, when the ego gets involved, we'll change them. We'll change them. There used to be a little bit of that here. When guys like Ryan Madsen, toiling around, they would bring him in here. Put him with this staff in 14 and 15 and 16. Put him with Dave Island. Just see what could happen with different Royals. It's like Ryan O'Hearn when he goes to Baltimore. Okay, we can fix him. We can fix him. The mentality of he's good enough, we can fix him. We have the right coaching staff, we can fix him. And a lot of that goes on in baseball. So just because your numbers are down, teams might look at it and say, well, with our development system, we'll put him in our system. Because everybody believes in
have to think about that
believes in their
yourself,
system.
Sure.
So this goes into the kind of the other mindset of Major League Baseball that this player might be here, but bring him here, he's different. I'm sure the Chiefs look at wide receivers this way. They probably look at Richie James, who had a nice year last year. They probably think, okay, now with Mahomes, he's better. Just the addition of being with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, you're a better player.
I'm sure they think that, yeah. Or any corner they
in
draft
Arizona,
or bring
you'd flounder around, and who knows if you didn't even get on the field. But in Kansas City, you'd probably thrive. And I think that mentality goes with a lot of different teams. So essentially, everybody becomes trade bait when teams think, yeah, we can fix them.
Because that's and that's why if you looked at the Royals roster right now and you were any number of teams and you say, all right, who are these guys that we would take a chance on from a trade perspective? I understand the Royals are going to have to get really good value if they're going to trade one of these young players. That's what JJ told us a couple of weeks ago. We'd had JJ on, and we had asked that question. I said, hey, would you be willing to trade one of your young players? And he said, well, of course we have to take those calls. What choice? Yeah. He's like, but we are going to ask for big return out of those players if we are to have those. But that's where I think guys I don't even think people are talking about like Carlos Hernandez or Brad Keller's been hurt, so probably not him. And he wouldn't have surprised you anyway. And I don't want it to be Lynch. I don't really want it to be Singer, but I assume there are teams calling about them right now because teams are desperate for starting pitching. But there are 4 or 5 position players that would at least be on this list for teams to entertain. Take a call, make a call, figure out whether they can get it. And more, and honestly, I believe in it more as a possibility this year than ever because it's a different general manager. I know that JJ was the general manager last year, but Dayton made it very clear. As many times as we had talked to him, he had gotten kind of reflective towards the end there when I think maybe he knew the writing was on the wall. And you had said, hey, are you willing to finally take a look at how you hold on to or trade talent in those things? And he's like, I know I need to be more transactional, but essentially openly admitted, Bink, that it was hard, that he didn't want to do that because it's hard. And when you get to that position, I don't think you're ever going to change your stripes. JJ's a different guy. I think it's a better chance this year than it's been in forever.
And you always have to be careful. Just like last night, I don't know if you saw Aroldis Garcia.
Yeah.
And Arozarena that played together with the Cardinals. You don't want to be sitting there a couple of years and go, wow, They were in our organization, and we didn't do what we could.
Like, I know that, but it's like you just have to believe that you can turn whatever talent you're getting out of those things.
Anybody and everybody, and that's kind of a good philosophy to go
They
with.
traded Evan Longoria.
They will trade anybody and everybody.
They traded like really good players for them. At the time, they were still really good. Evan Longoria is one of the like single greatest Tampa Bay Rays of all time, and they walked on him. Like now, later in his career, he spent a long time playing for Tampa Bay before they made that kind of move. But they still did it. That's the Salvador Perez part of this conversation. If I made you guess one player, if I said, hey, they traded, I tell you 2 weeks from now, they've traded a surprise player, Bink. Which one do you think it is, by the way? Like if you just had to guess one.
Could this be an easy one?
No, hard one. Like a surprising player. I'll include Salvi in the surprise because that would still surprise me because they've made given every indication that they don't want to trade him.
Vinny. That would really, really shock me.
Well, I mean, he's hurt. So.
Well, yeah, but or Massey or Maikel Garcia.
Yeah, he would shock
How about
me.
Maikel? He's showing a lot of promise.
I think the most likely is
He looks like he's set up for the future here in Kansas
Carlos Hernandez. Like they're just going to finally bail on one of these young arms, and somebody else would be like,
Do you think they would with their arms though, or would that be the last thing?
I mean, I
they
get
need
it.
arms.
I know, but they're just going to have to pay for that. I don't like.
But they need.
They don't have
homegrown
enough arms now. Trading one away is not going to mean like they don't have enough now. They still don't have enough, and they're not going to have enough. That's just reality. Like whether we like it or not, that's not going to. This is what got them in trouble in the first place. This idea that you're going to like, oh, we'll fix it next year. No, you still don't have enough arms. You need more bodies right now. That's just the reality of where you are. You have to make difficult decisions if you're the Royals. And I don't know if they're going to, but at least that's the case. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll give Quentin a chance to give some producer thoughts. There's no more Nick's Notable Notes as he's no longer on the show. But we'll give Quentin, the intern who is also running the board today, an opportunity to give us some of his thoughts that we can react to in just a second. As a text line put it, they're like, wow, you're just going to really let the interns just trial by fire.
They're kind of more than interns, though. Because I was with one of your interns last week, JT.
Which one, JT?
And, I mean, he's producing the show.
QT and JT, you know?
QT's here running the show. They're a little bit more than interns.
Well, we're forcing them into action.
They're good interns. They're great.
They're not just interns. They're good interns.
They're very good.
Hey, Spec vetted them. I don't know. Originally, we were supposed to be a part of this process, and I think they got worried about the illegal things we might ask.
How did you get all of them, the interns?
We asked for them. I mean, look, they the morning show could put this on us.
Aren't they a little bit upset
or the afternoon
frosty
show
about
could, but we asked for them. That's it. That's how we got them. We said, hey, we'd like some interns. They could have said, hey, we'd like some interns. They didn't. We said we'd like some. Plus, JT is at least partially getting shared with the morning show. He's been helping out there quite a bit. So we're at least sharing JT at this point. I would at least, and Quentin's, I don't think you've worked as much on the morning show.
I haven't been on the morning show. I've mostly been, but I mean, I get here towards the end of the morning show, so I've been, back here with B-Dub, and so I've sort of helped him out. Just like I also help out the drive for the first hour or so when I went there. So
we share.
I'm not officially, working with those shows, but I'm doing a little. I'm doing a little side hustle.
An unofficial capacity.
They spend a little time with Rob.
Yeah, we share a little bit.
A little bit.
They can ask next year. That's not the question. The question I have for you, though, Bink, is I was looking at this defensive line, and I've seen a couple of articles I think are being nitpicky with the Chiefs that are saying, hey, their biggest concern is pass rushing depth. And I was thinking about two players in particular that I think eliminate essentially that entire conversation if one of them steps up in a bigger way than where they were last year. Who do you think is more impactful this year? Do you think it's Karlaftis or Minihue? Because I'm leaning towards a Minihue. Not a knock on Karlaftis. A Minihue, if you just simply factor in snap numbers, if they just play him more, Binkley. He was on too deep of a defensive line rotation last year. They simply play him more. He is a 8 or 9 sack guy. And I'm not saying Karlaftis can't be that. I just feel like he's going to need another year to be that. Pass rushers come around slow.
I think he's farther along. He had 364 snaps outside, 144 over the tackle, 138 as defensive tackle. Okay, you got a guy like Chris Jones Light here. Play inside, could play outside. I think he's further along. I think Karlaftis will easily get there, but I think Minihue right now is just a little bit farther along than what Karlaftis is. I'm not worried about the pass rush, which is funny because you think about the last 4 years. When they did win Super Bowls, they were 50 and a 42 sack team. When they hit in the 30s, they didn't win anything. The 2 years kind of sandwiched in between the Super Bowls. They didn't get there. But
Yeah.
last year, everybody's worried. That was the number one thing people were worried about in training camp. Pass rush.
And they were second in the
a worry.
NFL.
But then Spags concocts something, and the Chiefs went up 24 sacks from the year before. And there wasn't a huge talent difference in what they had, but they blitzed from the secondary more than any other team. You know, Snead's going to get his.
Yes.
You know, Justin Reed's going to be blitzing as well.
Yeah. You know the
Jones
secondary is going to get a
his.
certain percentage.
Amenahu's going to get his. Karlaftis still going to get his. Who knows? Felix might add, 2 or 3, 4. Drew Tranquil that they brought in, who's not necessarily a pass rusher, had 5 last year. Bolton can get to the quarterback, as we've seen.
But
Leo Chenal.
But great pass rush teams don't require on the secondary to get that many.
Well,
Like,
they
great
don't,
pass
but
rush
they-
teams get it all from the defensive line.
But they
That's
manufacture
what always
it.
makes you concerned. You're like, do I want half of my sacks coming from the linebackers and secondary?
Well, the defense manufactured sacks
I
like the
know.
offense manufactured production from the wide receivers.
I
Without
know.
a 1,000-yard wide receiver.
And look, that's what Spag's strength is. So he's leaning into his personal strength.
And they drafted that way, too.
So do you think Amenahu's going to be more impactful then?
I think so because of the way he can play inside and outside. And I think he's just further along in his development. I think Karlaftis gets there. And Karlaftis could be just as good as a player, but Amenahu brings in that
Because you had said in his
inside,
rookie
outside,
year,
wherever you want.
Karlaftis kind of reminded you of
Max Crosby? Yeah.
and you thought he might be a double-digit sack guy, which we knew was a long shot for a rookie pass rusher. Just
And he got
generally
better as the
speaking.
season progressed.
He did. Well, he had no sacks for like
Well, I think
8 or 9 weeks.
I think he'd be a double-digit sack guy. I do. I don't think it happens this year, but I think going forward, he's a double-digit sack guy. He's relentless. He's got that motor like Crosby does.
Because the text line's asking, it's like, does anyone else see Frank Clark as a big loss? Big loss? No. Loss? Sure. Losing a 5-sack player off your defensive line, the loss will come in January.
Well,
for
Tyreek
Frank
Hill
Clark.
sucked to lose him, but they found
Of
good
course.
production.
Well, you can always find some ways to replace that production. That's why they drafted Uzama. That's how they're trying to replace some of the production they lost, and right now, Dunlap and Frank Clark. But you and I assume one more veteran pass rusher is still getting signed after Chris Jones' deal gets done. I assume they're still going to bring in Ingram or Dunlap or there's like a million. If you would like a veteran defensive pass rusher who's good for about 4 sacks, there are currently like 15 on the market. That is not an
Well, it's what they like
exaggeration.
to do.
That's roughly the amount that are available. Every other team could sign a 4-sack player off of the street today if they wanted to. Clowney, Dunlap, Ingram. There's
I think
a million
Dunlap
choices.
fits the best because of what he does.
Sure.
In the
Well, and
blocking,
he knocks passes down and all that stuff.
Yeah, that hands up. But I think having a guy inside and outside like Amenahu, kind of what you have with Chris Jones, gives you so much more flexibility because you're not sure where they're going to be. The opposing quarterback, okay, the inside, the outside, what are they going to do? And now we've seen the evolution of Chris Jones being so good at both. When before it was just the interior. Then you moved to the outside and you'd see the sack production wasn't there. Then last year, it didn't really matter if he's on the inside or outside. So we've seen that transition from him, which is monumental. Now, I don't think that gets enough credit for how good he is in both spots, playing both positions. Because it wasn't always like that. It took some time.
Well, and
I remember him talking to you guys in training camp saying, well, I'm not saying I'm doing one or the other. I'll just go where Spags wants me to go. But I think Spags envisioned this to be, all right, where's Jones? Where's Jones like if you're the other quarterback?
Yeah, you
All right,
got to
where's
guess.
Chris Jones? Is he inside? Is he outside? Where's he at? Because they wanted that confusion with other teams.
And then the mistake, obviously, the mistake that he makes, I guess, more or not makes, but the tend to go to is I think he wants like 5 different players who can rotate. Bink. Like I don't feel like he wants one guy like Amenahu. He wants Christian to line up so that the other teams make the mistake that is forgetting about Karlaftis, forgetting about Amenahu, forgetting about Uzama, forgetting about these other guys who've had good years, or Mike Dana. Mike Dana is a decent sack guy. He's a middling sack guy, but he'll get you a few over the course of the year, Bink.
Just give you 4.
Especially if you
You're
forget
fine.
about him. But he also lines up inside and outside. Amenahu, inside and outside. Karlaftis, inside and outside for portions of last season, although more outside than anywhere
And
else.
the draft was a lot like that.
Yeah, that's
Guys
just
can do both.
That's clearly just the direction that they're heading with this thing. Let's get to Quentin's producer thoughts. Quentin's questions? Quentin's queries?
I'll agree. My name is not great for coming
that?
up with some sort of an alliteration or anything like
We'll
that.
work on it.
But and I'll take advice on the text line. I'm open to that. My question comes from the old Tiki Talkie.
Oh,
because
TikTok, huh?
I know that while I am not on TikTok, I know people that are, and I know this show in the past has used TikTok for trends.
Yeah, youngest show in KC, Bink. So, we like to keep up with TikTok. Have you ever even seen a TikTok, Bink?
Yes, I've seen TikTok. I do not have one, but yes, I've seen them.
On Twitter or Facebook when people share them?
Yeah, people just text it to you and say, check this out. Yeah. Check this out, old man.
Check out this TikTok. Are you on Threads yet?
No. Are you?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be, don't I? I don't know if I have to be, but I'm not.
People use it?
Am I? They have like 120 million subscribers.
Didn't they get like 30 million within the first 24 hours?
They have over 100 million daily active users. Twitter has like 280, just so you know. So they're already at a third of it in like
But that's
a
too
week
much,
and a
man.
half.
It's too much. Is it too much?
To have another social media?
Yeah.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but I mean, what am I gonna do? I'm only 38. I gotta adopt. What's the question, Quentin?
Okay, this quote unquote hack, which I don't know if I would call it that, is called a fruit roll-up hack, where you get a fruit roll-up and you put ice cream inside of it and you fold it up like a quesadilla and then presume to consume that. So I have some thoughts on that. But let me hear you guys. So fruit roll-up, ice cream in the middle, and smack down on it.
That sucks, man.
That doesn't sound very good.
No, it sounds horrible.
What kind of ice cream?
Well, the video used strawberry ice cream, but it also has been used with vanilla ice cream.
Fruit roll-up and ice cream?
I think the whole thought of fruit roll-up and ice cream is just a horrible, horrible thought.
That first, TikTok's got to figure out what the hell a hack is. That's not a hack. You didn't hack anything.
Yeah, you
just created a gross food combination. That's not a hack. I watched, my wife very briefly had like HGTV on, and there was some like new renovation show, Bink, that was like hack this house, and they said hack maybe 50 times, and none of them were hacks. It was just like designing part of it. That's not a hack. Like, we're gonna hack under the staircase and build a bookshelf. I'm like, you're just building a bookshelf. It's not a hack. That's not what that is. That has a real meaning for things you're doing. I'm looking at the photos of this now, Quentin.
It looks awful.
Why do they let this kind of stuff trend?
Now, first of all, if you were in, elementary school and you had a pack of Gushers or a thing of fruit roll-ups, you were like the coolest kid at the lunch table that day. So I'm down with a fruit roll-up every once in a while.
My in-laws still have some Gushers at the house sometimes.
Yeah,
and I'll eat one. Not against it.
Well, kids love those.
Fruit roll-ups are like objectively not great, but there's the nostalgia there. And what you will soon learn about me is that I'm not a big sweets person. So already this is just not down my alley. Like, I like vanilla ice cream, and when I eat chocolate, it needs to be like 96% cocoa, okay? I don't eat milk chocolate. But this just, like, if you have diabetes, like, this would be the end of you.
It's the person who started the trend. Quote, it's an unexpected sweet surprise, and it makes snacking experience so fun to eat. No, it doesn't, Bink. It's none of those things.
I just never was a fan of any kind of snack that takes a lot of work to get the snack out, like fruit roll-ups. You get that paper stuck.
You got to unroll it.
You don't want to work for your snacks.
Shells. I just rather have peanuts without the shell.
I like peanuts in the shell.
Sometimes I do, but usually I just like to grab or shrimp. When you're peeling it all the time, just give me the.
So
the
you want very
just
low
give me the damn shrimp.
work food.
Yes,
those aren't even high work food.
Low work food. Of course, you probably eat less if you do that.
Peanut with the shell only at baseball games. Other than that, I'm with you. I'm buying the honey roasted peanuts just out of the little jar.
I probably eat the damn shell a lot.
Do you eat sunflower seeds with the shell?
I do, actually.
Wait, you eat the shell?
I do eat the shell.
Okay.
Just
spit it out.
Well, I do usually, but a lot of times you eat them. They're pretty tasty.
You don't have, but you're not supposed to eat the shell, I don't think.
Well, you're probably not.
Sounds a little painful coming out the other end.
Yeah, I don't think that's good for you, Bink. I don't want to say for sure, but I don't think that's good for you. When we come back here on Cody and Gold, the rivalry between the Chiefs and the Bengals is very real, but somebody's trying to blame the wrong person for it. We'll do that next.
Cody and Gold.
A gentleman named George Bancroft, who is an American historian, statesman, prominent in the the entire 1800s.
Are we almost done with this conversation?
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've all seen them. As soon as the big storm comes through, the storm-chasing roofers show up. Don't be a victim twice. Call locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. No one protects your home and you like JR.
JR's there for you. You're always better with a roof from JR.
In fact, JR & Company can let you know if you even need to be worried about storm damage. Online, visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address and we'll pull a storm report. If there's nothing on the report, we'll give you hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we can come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. We'll never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
go to jrhailcheck.com.
The other place with 3 great Kansas City locations, Shawnee, Olathe, and downtown Overland Park, is the perfect place to wind down after a tough day at work. Go grab yourself something to drink, go sit out on the patio, have some amazing food, and catch the game. For all your summer fun, be sure to stop by the other place.
When you get your home internet from Big Cable, you'll go through the 5 stages of grief over your bill. There's denial.
Okay, so my introductory rate is over, but surely they won't raise the price.
Anger.
They raised it.
Even bargaining.
Maybe if I complain, they'll give me a discount.
And sure, you could stick around for depression and acceptance to kick in, or you can switch to T-Mobile. With T-Mobile 5G home internet, you can say goodbye to the grief of exploding bills. Because with our price lock guarantee, we won't raise your rate for internet ever. And it's just $50 a month with auto pay and eligible payment method. Plus, setup only takes 15 minutes. Get T-Mobile 5G home internet for just $50 a month. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/5G internet.
Price lock exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Qualifying credit required. Regulatory fees included in $50 price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit or bank account required.
Gas, groceries, utilities, you name it, the price of everything is going up. And if you're stuck in a bad timeshare with rising maintenance fees, the financial burden can be crushing. It is time to get your finances in order and get the real facts about that timeshare that you are stuck in and your options to get rid of it. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has been helping families out of horrible timeshares for over 10 years and has put together a complete timeshare exit information kit that he will send you absolutely free. To date, over 30,000 families have trusted Wesley Financial Group to help them out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. Get the facts about how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation. Simply call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit and see how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. Once again, 800-462-3333.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Only $49.99 guaranteed. That's right. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all. Also, lose all the weight and let hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating, and lose the weight. Stop Smoking Seminar Wednesday, August 9th at the Wingate Hotel in Kansas City. Weight Loss Seminar 5:30 p.m. and Stop Smoking at 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Looking to adopt a furry friend? Then come to Wayside Waves, where you can adopt an adult dog or cat for half price July 11th through July 16th. Wayside is holding this adoption promotion in honor of Fenby Webster's birthday. Fenby opened the shelter in 1944 because she wanted all homeless animals to have forever homes. Wayside is celebrating her birthday with half-price adoptions for adult dogs and cats 5 months to 6 years of age. Visit waysidewaves.org to view the adoptable animals, or come to Wayside Waves today.
Okay, outdoor summer cocktail party fit check. I've got a hot pink and orange bodycon dress paired with vintage sneakers. It'll definitely attract attention, but not from mosquitoes, because I'm wearing it with Off Clean Feel for 8 gorgeous hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. So I can sip, socialize, and flirt out there in the wild with absolutely unshakable confidence. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson, a family company.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional-grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Miss anything while you were at work? Every show is available on demand at 610sports.com and the Odyssey app. 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Hour number 2 here of Cody and Gold. Cody Tapp, Jay Binkley with you. Quentin running the board on the other side, our intern. We got a lot of different hosts and board ops this week. Dusty ran the board for me yesterday and co-hosted. Binkley, you're in with me today and tomorrow. Quentin, this is your today and Thursday and Friday on the board? Is that correct?
I know I'm here Friday.
Couldn't remember if you were also Thursday or not. Okay.
I
cool.
mean, if they want me here, I'll be here.
Well, we'll find out one way or the other.
It's the attitude.
That's the right idea.
That's
you
the
know?
attitude.
We'll just double check with Spec when we're all done here. But then on Wednesday, I believe it's JT. So we got a whole big. So tomorrow we'll have a different producer, Bank. And then Thursday and Friday, Gold will be back. And then Quentin at least on Friday, and maybe somebody else on Thursday.
Oh, yeah,
or maybe
speaking of something, you did something last night for the garage sale.
Oh, yeah.
You paid off your deal with the drinks with you and Sweeney.
That's right.
I don't know if I would say pay off. He
Well,
had
not
the
pay off, but-
opportunity to meet somebody and, help the museum.
Yeah, and I drank.
Exactly.
I drank on his tab because that's how this works.
$100.
Yeah, and we had $50 to guys. So I mean, what's not to like? I was happy to help. And so the biggest part of the whole deal that I think people undersell on this is, as part of going with me and Pete for this.
By the way, he didn't behave himself.
We took Pete did, yeah. Okay. We take a photo and we get to go up on the Kelly's wall for the year. We replace that photo every year, but Kelly's got the wall full of mostly people who maybe are related to a Kelly or have been there long enough to deserve it. We get it just by, laying in the wake here. So we took a photo last night. I'll go buy a frame so we can stick ourselves up on the wall.
Will that have your name on it?
No, just be our faces.
Well, because you want your goal is to have like 6 things with your name on it. So if you get a plaque, that could be another thing.
Maybe a frame with a plaque.
Yeah, that could be another thing.
There's a couple things.
Your name's over by the
works.
toilet once a year when your birthday is there. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
So,
once a year for sure.
Oh, by the way, did you know my parents got engaged at Kelly's like 55 years ago?
Really?
At Kelly's. So
That's an interesting place to get engaged.
Well, it's the oldest bar in Kansas City.
Well, I know, but
that's what they did.
I didn't know your parents got engaged at Kelly's.
Significant thing at Kelly's.
Are they on the wall?
No.
Is there a photo of them on the wall?
I don't think so.
Well, it feels like if they got engaged in Kelly's and there's a photo of it, it should be on the wall.
No, they have a photo of Kelly's on their wall.
I mean, that's also good, but I feel like it should go both ways here. Maybe I'll ask Mitch if I can get us 2 photos. Maybe you can also be your parents can also be on the wall. It feels like appropriate at this point.
I'm just imagining a very badly photoshopped picture, of like a random, bride and groom or whatever, and just photoshopped their faces over it.
Do the photos still exist of them when they got engaged? Did someone take a photo?
I don't know.
Someone snap a shot?
I don't know
of the engagement.
I don't know. I'll have to ask.
That's all I figure out. I didn't know. I wanted to know for sure.
I need to go do my drink off here soon.
Yeah, you do.
That's
It's coming up.
better.
I'm still waiting for that person to respond on my email, but that's coming. Don't worry. So the Chiefs and the Bengals obviously are the best rivalry
Was I
in the
conceived
NFL.
in Kelly's? No. Maybe.
Anything's possible.
Later on, not that night.
The Chiefs and Bengals is obviously the best rivalry in all of the NFL. We know that. There's no mystery about that. But now I feel like they're trying to shift blame at a time that it is definitively not the Chiefs' fault. Joe Burrow, in an interview with Complex, said, quote, he said, this is the best thing about it is that it's all settled on the field. So we'll see them in December. About the Chiefs' trash talk. He was him responding to that. Excuse me? The Chiefs' trash talk? You started this. You said, who? Pat who? Your guy Jamar didn't have to play it like that. As you remember going into the AFC title game last year, who's doing all the talking there, Bink? Who's all this? We beat them last year. We don't care about them. That was Cincy, right? All the Chiefs have been doing is shutting them up. That is not trash talk. Shutting someone up is not trash talk, in my opinion. If you say, Pat who, that's who, with 2 Super Bowl rings when your entire franchise has 0, that's not trash talk. That's putting this thing to bed. And yeah, it's fun that it gets to be settled on the field, but what the hell? You trying to put this on the Chiefs? How? You've started it every time.
Yeah, they have it. I love this. I love the back and forth between these teams because the Bengals, to me, they've replaced everything. Like when I grew up, it's the Raiders. And then it became the Broncos. Because don't forget the Broncos beat the Chiefs 7 straight times. Before this 15
No. It's
game
been
streak
a run,
started. Yeah,
though.
it was 7 straight years. Manning had his way. And Elway used to, be a thorn in the side too. But the Broncos-Chiefs replaced that rivalry. And with the Royals, we've seen, cyclical. When Batista was with the Blue Jays, it was not liking Batista and what the Blue Jays were about. And it was the A's and Brett Laurie. It was the fights the Royals would have with the White Sox. And Chris Sale going after Giordano. And Lorenzo Cain coming out with the shirt over his, in the scuffle they had with the White Sox. That was all fun. But it went away. It's kind of like Kansas basketball. We say, who's their rival? Sometimes it's Iowa State, when they're good or not. But the Bengals, they're not the Bills. Like the Bills, there's no animosity towards. At least, I don't think so. There might be. But it's the Bengals.
I don't think so.
But the Bills don't like the Chiefs. And I know this because every time you go on the radio in Buffalo or whenever I go on there, they always bring up the 13 seconds. Like that is stuck in their head. That is stuck in their head.
It's a devastating moment.
It is stuck. That 13 seconds is something they haven't gotten over. They haven't. It's like that marriage that they're not
because
over.
They
they're
think
not
if they
over.
didn't lose that game, they're winning the Super Bowl.
I
That's
know.
why, Bink.
But it crushed them. And they still think about it.
They don't have a
dwell
Super
on it.
Bowl win.
And this is a problem because that's always in the back. They don't have the closer mentality. Forget about what happened the game before. The Bills are still stuck on 13 seconds. And if they bring it up, ad nauseum. They even asked me, do you guys revel in the 13 seconds? I said,
No, they lost the next week. We kind of let that one die.
Because they lost. All right? The Grim Reaper would have been great. The Grim Reaper would have gone like Corn Dog and Wasp and 65 Toss Power Trap. It would have gone down
legacy
with the Kansas City Chiefs. 13 seconds of Grim Reaper. I even made an audio of Mitch Holthus and Dana Hughes calling that 13 seconds of glory with the Reaper song. Fear the Reaper. I had more cowbell and everything.
How long
I added the cowbell.
Well, what's the run on this? What's the run for Chiefs Bengals? Because we got Patriots Colts for like a decade. I mean,
as long as the Chiefs are number one, the Bengals are viewing the Chiefs like the Chiefs viewed the Patriots. And that's what they have to do. Like, I get it. Like, the Chiefs didn't run their mouths at the Patriots. Like, they didn't. There was no smack talk going back. The Chiefs just knew, hey, we got to beat this team. And for some, they respected the Steelers a lot, too, and what they did. Because they were always kind of that tier right below the Patriots team they had to get over.
I think the thing that helps Cincinnati, which I guess I'm always like, because I'm torn between openly mocking you and then also realizing that you can't bear the weight of everything that happened before you. Because we talked about this with the Royals, I remember, for a while when they were in the middle of their run. They're like, well, I mean, we weren't bad during all those years in the 2000s. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But if you play for Cincinnati, you play for Buffalo, you must know that your franchises have a combined 0 Super Bowl wins. So any trash talk, anything you say comes off a little hollow right now. And I get it. You're going to be like, well, you just started winning them again. Sorry. And it doesn't take very much. Once you get to 3, Once you get to 3 Super Bowl wins as a franchise, you're one of the 10 best of all time, Bink. Not that many teams can say they have more than you. They get one more, and they're going to be an even more exclusive company as a franchise.
Well, they have to wait to try. Burrow and Allen will win a Super Bowl. The Chiefs are not going to win it every year.
You sure?
I mean,
you sure about that?
Odds
there was a
are,
team I thought could.
Odds are.
Maybe it could just be an NFC team,
run at some point. But I'm just saying, at some point, there's going to be somebody else out there with some hardware. It just has to be. It would just dictate it. Jalen Hurts gets his or whatever, or Burrow or Allen. Somebody's going to get theirs. Because even when Brady was doing his deal, Manning would sneak it and win too. Somebody is when we
Flacco snuck in,
or Big Ben would win.
Big Ben got one.
In the Steelers, Big Ben would win.
2.
But somebody had to come out and be that team. And the Chiefs got good because they were focused on New England. Why do you think Steve Spagnuolo's here? He was brought in to beat the Patriots. Why? Because he took down their undefeated season.
He didn't have to beat them anymore. They don't even.
He didn't have to worry about the Patriots anymore. It's different. The Chiefs are the king of the mountain now, king of the hill. Everybody's trying to get to where the Chiefs are. They're drafting what they're doing. They're getting free agents like they're doing. Hell, I just saw a story on Twitter now that has the Bills back wanting DeAndre Hopkins.
Of course they want DeAndre Hopkins. They're desperate.
They're not. That story's not dead. That story is not dead because the Chiefs and the Bills are the only team to try to trade for him. Just because he went and visited Tennessee and New England.
How the Bills going to get the
Buffalo and
money?
Kansas City's still there.
I know how the Chiefs are going to get the money. They're going to sign Chris Jones to an extension. And there seems to be more rumblings about that again today because Jeff Darlington, I think it was, had the report out today that said the Chiefs are very confident that they're going to get this long-term extension done soon for Chris Jones.
Why doesn't Mahomes give his royal stake to DeAndre for?
I don't think you're allowed to do that. I mean, sure. I'm still convinced that during those times in New England that they're like, oh, Tom just always took this discount. I'm like, you cannot tell me that at some point Robert Kraft promised him some little bite of the apple at the end, Oh, I'll give you like a 0.5%. Don't worry about it. Although now
you think under the table money does not happen in the NFL? It's
it must.
Funny. Well, because it happened in college football all the time, even before the nail deal. It happened all the time. We say the NFL teams have shied away from under the table money. Come on, man.
It also happened above board in New England. I mean, his owner invested in his dumb food company. That's essentially under the table money. You giving a bunch of money for my business while I play for you. Money that you wouldn't have to otherwise give to me, or you might not even know existed or invest in this business. Come on.
Well, and the fact his wife made a ton of money, Giselle.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't hurt.
Well,
certainly in taking a pay cut. But, I mean, I still don't think that that's exactly it. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll get to the trash of the day, and then we might talk more about where the rumblings are with DeAndre Hopkins coming up in the Chiefs Red Half Hour in about 15 minutes. But with the Royals, there seems to be one thing still hovering for me. So right now, they're in the middle of the draft. We know that they've got more picks to make today. But,
Browns 11 through 20 today, correct?
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. And it's not even a knock on this. It's just like the odds of whichever players they take now being super valuable, kind of low. Although Vinny was taken, I think, somewhere in this range.
Well, it depends. I look at the All-Star roster sometimes and see what rounds the guys are selected.
Sure.
You would not believe the amount of first-rounders or international free agent signings that are in the All-Star.
Yeah.
It's just loaded. Occasionally a fifth-rounder you'll see floating around there, but it's typically first-rounders.
I think what I really am trying to...
First round really matters.
Yeah. Vern's got an upcoming longer-term or longer-form conversation coming up with JJ Piccolo. I know he comes on our show every couple of weeks. And we're going to do a State of the Union for the Royals here shortly, coming up on Thursday from 9 to 11 with limited commercial breaks with us in the morning show and the afternoon show in Vern. But it's like I'm still stuck in this, like, what is JJ trying to make the identity of this team? Like, we know for the Rays, right, for all this time, it's just like we have great pitchers, then we move on to the next thing, and then we get the next great young pitcher, and we just keep doing that. And we have an offense that is effective enough with 9 guys who seem like they hit exactly the same. They didn't have a lot of, 3 guys carry the offense in Tampa Bay for a lot of years. Just a lot of very similar, consistently decent hitters across the board that allowed them this opportunity. So the question is what is their identity going forward? I still feel like it's got to be around the young bats. Because right now, trying to make your identity pitching and starting pitching and turning that stuff over, you're too far removed from that. You can quickly identify yourself as a good, young, hitting, speedy team who can hopefully play some better defense going forward if you just lean into that. Doesn't that seem easier? One free agent bat away from making that a realistic possibility.
What they need to do is parlay. Remember Dave Roberts when the Dodgers came in here and the Royals beat him out of 2 out of 3?
Yeah.
And the Royals made it look relatively easy beating the Dodgers. Remember Dave Roberts? Because I had Matt Quintero on last week when I was doing the Fesco in the morning. And I asked that. I said, what do you think about Dave Roberts' comments? There's a story on it right now on 610sports.com because he's very complimentary. Talking about the Royals putting the ball in play, always putting pressure on the defense. Like that is something you'd want as your identity. What Dave Roberts said about the Royals, that is what you want your identity to be. A pesky team that's always going to fight you till the end. But everything Dave Roberts said should be what the Royals want to make their identity. Because what he said was ultra
pesky. That's what they were before in 14 and 15.
14 and 15, 100% what they were. They're throwing everybody's side. But what Dave Roberts said about the Royals, that basically encapsulates everything you want your team to be when a manager like that says it about your team. Because he was ultra complimentary about the Kansas City Royals.
I know, but I mean, he's saying that coming off a series in which they actually beat him. There's no reason to be overly complimentary about the Royals under normal
Those guys just outplayed us. Because it's a different brand of baseball as far as putting the ball in play, hitting behind runners, stealing bases. They were excellent at actual situational hitting. And so, to be quite honest, we couldn't keep up.
I know, but they're the worst situational hitting team in baseball.
He didn't have to say that.
Had one good series in that.
I know he lost 2 out of 3.
They are, and I'm not even making that up. They are statistically, not by a little, by a lot, the worst situational hitting team in baseball.
I know, but
they are the worst clutch hitting team
for
in
that
baseball.
weekend, they weren't. And yes, they did slide to 40 games under 500, which, as Vern pointed out, was the earliest in team history.
Excuse me, 40 games?
They were. Saturday, they went to 40. Saturday, they went to 40. Then Sunday, with Sunday's win, they went to 39 games under. Did you see what Vern put out, though?
No.
About the Royals?
Is it positive or negative?
It's not positive. Here's his tweet. Royals fall 40 games this Saturday. Royals fall 40 games below 500, the earliest they've done so in franchise history. 7-8-2023, 40 games under. 7-9-2018, 40 games under. So, again, by one day. 8-14-2005, 40 games under. 8-24-2019, 40 games under. 8-30-2004, 9-25-2006. But they hit the franchise record Saturday night. Then they win, so now they're 39 games under.
Are they going to lose 115 games?
Well, it's on pace for 116 at this point.
Yeah. I was giving them the one.
There's no way. Here's the one question. Will they have a winning streak? 3 games. Will they have a winning streak? Because they've been close. Matter of fact, JT and I were ready for that to happen. You know, you cut Major League, saying you win 3 in a row. That's a winning streak, gentlemen. Let's go have fun.
You cut that audio just to get to play.
Man, I was ready for it.
One more, and that's a
winning streak.
It has happened before.
I don't want to hear that. Man, they were close by winning 3 games in a row. Like that. That's demoralizing.
Well, Oakland won 7 in a row? Quinn?
Yeah, they did. I mean, that's how for 2 or 3 days they were better than the Royals record wise. I don't know the current standing now, but
they're extremely close.
Let me ask you a question.
They were within percentage points. They were both tied with wins, but I think the Royals, because of them winning that Sunday, they might have moved ahead of them. But the Royals were just a few percentage points. Let's see what Royals are 26 and 65. A's are 25 and 67.
Got them by a game.
So let me ask you guys a question. If you want to build around the bats, then do you feel like in the future you just end up trading away these bats to try and build your bullpen and starting pitching? Because you're good at developing, or at least you're way more confident you're good at developing your young bats. So do you keep drafting college bats, move that through your system, and then trade for starting pitching later?
Yes. Be good at the thing you're good at. I mean, look, ideally you'd be good at both. They just changed their pitching development too. They changed their hitting development a couple of years ago, and it's starting to bear some fruit, although, probably some time left on that to figure out whether or not they're going to make this development. But yes, build around bats, be good at the thing you're good at, and then figure out the pitching.
So what would you say their identity is? Because right now I think
it should be still around young hitters. I think they're still searching for it.
And this is the year that they were going to get the leadership, remember?
Yeah.
Because last year was about leadership. You get wet and Benintendi
I still
and
think
let
they've
these
got.
younger.
I like their young leadership better than I think the guys. And it's not like I'm going to say this in the nicest conceivable way. They were losers, as in they had gotten used to losing. Dozier and Witt and O'Hearn, it had just washed over. They were just like comfortable in it, like sitting in a nice warm bath of losing, unbothered by it. This young team, I don't think, still likes it. I think they still hate losing, which is a good thing. You have to maintain,
man. This is not Hal McRae or George Brett taking a bat to a toilet after the game.
I know.
Like that's the kind of stuff you need, man. You need more toilet smashing. You need to take it personally. Hey, I'm tired of losing. The A's came in here. They went 2 out of 3. This crap sucks. Smash the toilet.
That's what you want?
Don't replace it. They're going to move in the stadiums anyway. So
I don't think they have a smash the toilet guy.
They haven't smashed the toilet forever. Wentwood probably the closest to doing that.
He was a red ass, but he never. But he never did. But he got comfortable. Maybe he'd have smashed the toilet if he was like sitting around in 2016 playing that level and they had just been to the World Series. Sure.
Like Perez probably wouldn't do it, but if he did
he's
it,
too nice.
I think everybody'd sit back and whoa. Like Salvi, when he gets mad, I mean, there's been times in the field where he's been mad. You can tell he's mad. You don't poke the bear. But if he smashed the toilet, I think the rest of the team would be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Salvi means business here.
Okay, so the next time I have Vinny on the show, I'll ask him who's the most likely to smash the toilet. It's probably Brady, right? He got mad at a rain
Singer,
cloud
100%.
once.
Yeah. Singer, I could totally see leaving the mound, getting pulled, going in, and
well, he's been struggling this year, so I wouldn't put
smash it. Singer definitely. Yeah, you're right. Singer would be number one.
But then people say it's dysfunctional. It's like the Kadarius Toney DMs. It's like when things are going well, they're not going to make a big a deal about it. When it isn't going well, then they'll make a bigger deal about it. And because this is like a huge off season for Toney, people will make a big deal about how he responded to someone in his private DMs because it seemed angry and it was at 3 a.m., a decidedly bad time to respond to anybody.
Maybe you just
in
got up
your
early.
DMs. That's no way.
Maybe he's training.
When's the last time you got up at 3 a.m.?
Last week to a Fesco show.
Wait, you get up at 3 to do that? The show doesn't start till 6.
Yeah, but when you get here at least by 4.
I mean, do you?
It was pretty early, man.
You can't get here at 5?
I think if I was
Well, if
told,
you had to cut audio and everything, I was getting about 3 a.m.
if I was told, you're like, hey, we need someone to produce the morning show, I'd be like, I got you, man, but I'm sleeping here. Like that's
You
like,
would just stay the night?
Yeah, I'm sleeping on the couch, out in the bullpen, and I'm just gonna stay here so I can roll out and make it to the show on time.
Here's the thing, Quinn. Guys have done this, Quinn. People have done this. I've done the post-game show till 2, 3 in the morning, something like that, and then done Fesco today.
Yeah, I've
Kramer's
seen
with me
you.
one
You
night.
definitely slept.
And Kramer and I went to Quick Trip, I think, to get something, but I didn't want to sleep because if you sleep for like 1 hour or 1 hour, you're not getting up. So you might as well just stay up. So it was.
So wait, your
6:10
suggestion at 3 a.m. when you got to do the morning show is just stay
Fox
up?
Sports, stay up. Stay the hell up.
just shotgun a couple Red Bulls.
That's right. That's right. Go slam a Red Bull or go slam a Bang at Quick Trip. Get you some roller food. And then come back, sit your happy ass out in the parking lot, listen to sports radio, casually. Now, Kramer came in here and slept somewhere. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere.
There's a cot on the music side. Maybe he slept over there.
There's been a couple guys just
There's
curled
a
up here on
cot
the floor.
over there, and I don't know who it's for. But there is a bed over in this area on the music side. And
It's
the
very
door's always
lovely
open,
here.
so
Very
it's
lovely.
somebody's.
Very lovely here at Times Square. You need to have a great time.
Hey, that
lot of
roller food hits
peacefulness
different at 2:30 in the morning.
Should we
I'll say
put that on the
We've got
Cody
a
and
full
Gold,
company kitchen.
Cody and Gold garage next year? 610 sleepover?
Who's going to stay with them, Quinn?
I don't know.
Me? You know me.
610 sleepover with Bink.
Me and Quinn.
2, 3 in the morning, you guys can go to Quick Trip, get some roller food.
That's
you know,
right. It's tradition.
Do whatever you got to do.
It's we'll rebrand it as a PJ party, just to get people real excited about it.
Yeah. Do you wear PJs, Quinn?
My PJs I could not wear out in public.
You don't wear them, do you?
No.
Do you wear them, Cody?
Athletic shorts and a
I
t-shirt.
wear athletic shorts and t-shirt. I mean, that's what. I don't think Quentin does, though.
I sleep in a pair of boxers.
Okay, well, you said.
I was starting to think he was sleeping nude. Maybe it was that guy. Look.
Well, I didn't know if he wore PJs. Maybe he has a nice set of flannels.
Just like, I don't know. My kids wear PJs, but that's about.
Yeah, but they're like 6 and 5 or something.
Like, they're
I
4
never
and
had.
7. They're pretty close.
Maybe he's a kid Spider-Man ones or Batman ones or something.
Yeah. We can get you some of those. Some adult-sized Batman PJs, Bink, for the Cody and Gold sleepover.
First of all, I would rock the Batman PJs, so, it gets kind of cold in here. I don't think you get that hot.
No, you'd probably be okay.
Hey, you played the thermostat just right over here.
Look at you, Mike. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. When we come back here on Cody and Gold, there seems to be more rumblings about Chris Jones. We'll tell you where that is headed next.
Cody and Gold.
The facts on this show are irrelevant.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
At Shane Company, we believe everybody is made to shine. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Shining is not for a chosen few. Like a rare gemstone, each one of us was created under just the right set of circumstances. Your moments, your milestones, your love story, all deserve to shine bright. You don't need an occasion or an invitation. You and your life are the event. At Shane Company, we handcraft our jewelry with the greatest care and hand select the most beautiful gemstones so you can shine. So put on a pair of earrings that make your eyes sparkle. Wear diamonds that light up the room. Try on sapphires in every color of the rainbow. Give an heirloom that collects new stories with each generation. We're all made to shine. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Hi, I'm Andrew Mackey, an instructor at Centric and an Army veteran. If you're transitioning from active duty or already a veteran and aren't quite sure of your next steps, Centric is a great option for your future. You can use the problem-solving and leadership skills you gained in the military towards a new, exciting career in IT in just 4 months. If you've been looking for a way to get started in the IT field, put your GI Bill to work and start your new career in IT. Go to centric.com/610 for more information. That's CENTRIQ.com/610.
For the best barbecue in Kansas City, go to my favorite place, Smokehouse Barbecue. Smokehouse has been family owned and operated for over 35 years, and they've become part of our family as well. From their tremendous ribs to their delicious burnt ends, Smokehouse has something for everyone. Plus, their hickory pip beans are world famous. So visit one of their 3 locations in Independence, Gladstone, or Zona Rosa, or place your carry-out and catering orders at SmokehouseBBQ.com. For the best in barbecue, it's my favorite, Smokehouse Barbecue.
The other day, I had one of those Facebook memories pop up, the photos. In this case, it was about 5.5 years ago. It was a photo of me and some friends, and sure enough, I was wearing glasses because that was typically the case for me. Glasses, sometimes I throw in contacts if I was going out on the weekend or whatever it may be. Now I don't need contacts. Now I don't need glasses. I've been telling you guys about that because I went in for a free consultation to Dury Vision. I was skeptical. I didn't know if I was eligible for LASIK. I didn't know if I was going to actually go through with the process. But Dr. Lindquist and the staff put my mind at ease, so much so that I felt so comfortable just a couple days later to go in for my procedure. Spent about 16 seconds or so on each eye, and I was right back at work the very next day. I did some eye drops for a couple weeks, and now sometimes I forget that I even had the procedure. That's how just normal it feels to wake up and see with my eyes only. No contacts, no glasses needed. Give them a call, 913-491-3330, or go online to DuryVision.com where you can also schedule a virtual consultation. And be sure to tell them Gold from 610 sent you.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Woo-hoo! Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer. Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. This summer, try some eco-friendly water sports like paddleboarding, swimming, or diving. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
A beautiful summer afternoon, plenty of sunshine with highs near 95.
Weather brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. Don't go it alone in your job search. With nearly 20,000 job openings, Express Employment Professionals can help you take the next step in your career. Visit expresspros.com today.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. The technicians you can trust with your house keys for over 70 years. Right now, get a free duct cleaning with every new cooling and heating system installation. Schedule online at anthonyphce.com today.
Chiefs Red Half Hour, every day at 11:30 on Cody and Gold.
All of our Chiefs coverage is powered by and driven by our friends over at Max Motors. I think there's a chance Gold and I might be sharing a whip up to training camp. Maybe share a ride up to training camp in a car from Max Motors. We're not 100% sure. Either way, great selection. You ought to check out their full line of cars. But obviously, of course, our Chiefs coverage is brought to you by them all through training camp, which is shockingly big, just a week away.
What kind of whip you going to get?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe truck? Maybe, Gold. Let's get the two least likely truck guys ever and put them in a truck.
Yeah, why did you say it like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Vern's getting a truck. I don't know if you knew this or not, but
wait, what?
Oh, Vern. He's
from like a.
Oh yeah. Don't worry about that. He's getting a truck. We'll have a truck the next time you see him. Vern.
Should I know about this?
He lost all his hair. He's getting fat. He got a truck. It's Vern.
So he's getting a truck.
He's getting a truck.
Okay. He's gonna lean into that lifestyle, huh?
Yeah.
All right, whatever he wants.
But anyway, yeah. 18th is when 9 different teams rookies show up on the 18th. Quarterbacks and rookies. Think about Mahomes' week. Sure, he's going to be at the ESPYs Wednesday. Chiefs are up for a couple of. That's tomorrow.
Sure. He's in everything, man.
Reno, Tahoe this
he's
weekend.
Everywhere.
Reno's this weekend.
Yeah.
And then you have training camp the next. So, rookies and quarterbacks. And then the veterans come in on 21st or 22nd. It's one of those 2 days. But they don't start practice until 23rd.
But the rookies will show up next week.
Rookies are here next week.
I know. I think it's next Wednesday. We'll be out there awaiting some of the arrival of those players. I think the classic local TV news TV truck packing day is tomorrow. So get out there, Bink. Let's send one of the interns. Let's send one of the interns to cover the loading of the trucks to go up to St. Joe.
Who hit
the lamest possible thing to cover?
You know,
and yet every year.
How they do it. They sell the equipment trucks. Anthony Sherman always arrived in style. His clothing attire.
Yeah, he did. He was big on that.
Anthony Sherman was always. Dustin Cole quote. Didn't they get the specials get like a? Did they have a Humvee or something one year in the special short on?
Yeah, they got some sort of like armored vehicle. I don't remember if it was.
Remember Antonio Brown arrived in a hot air balloon to the Raiders, which he never played for, but he was
trying too hard.
I was looking for a helmet.
Yes.
You know that helmet he was looking for? I own one of those, but it was the year after the one he was looking for.
Wait, so you almost had the Antonio
Brown
Brown helmet?
I was like, wait a minute, I got Antonio Brown helmet.
Why did you have it?
Huh?
Why did you have it?
I don't know. My coach gave it to me. He's like, here's that. Here's the helmet.
Man, okay. Well,
Park has his privileges,
That's where my kids will go.
Really? You gonna have some Northmen?
I think so, yeah. I mean, assuming I keep staying in this house and don't lose this job, sure. Hypothetically.
That used to be Winnetonka area, by the way.
I know, but they changed the boundaries.
It's good.
So depending on my, just as long as people keep listening to this show and they like us here,
Cody's
and I
got
get
some
to keep this
Northmen.
job, then all my kids will go to Oak Park if I can just maintain my employment for the next 7 or 8 years.
Okies.
Hey, well, from the 816, QT is running the board flawlessly. Just have him replace Nick. So, maybe
this is a much better run than Friday was a bit rocky.
I think your
Been
nickname
very smooth today.
is PJ.
PJ?
That's not any
For
part of
PJ.
the
That's not even close.
For PJs. PJ.
He said he doesn't use PJs.
I know,
though.
but I that kind of think he said he did. But PJ.
QT, Q-tip. Someone says Quentin's too long. We
PJ.
can't just go Q. That's the Royals manager. He owns
Or the
that,
mayor.
right? Or the mayor. There's too many Qs already. Sorry, man. Can't be Q.
That's fine. Like I said in the bullpen, I can't choose my own nickname.
PJ.
I'm going to think about it.
I will take a request from the
You
text
gotta-
line.
you gotta be
Kramer's Crame Dog. You can be Q Dog.
You're lucky that you're growing up in a time of radio where they don't give you some like weird nickname like Wet Willie. It's Wet Willie back there. You know how they just like make up the silliest nicknames in radio for the longest time.
Should I be thankful you're not hazing me?
Dude,
Is
it's
that-
just like, it
should-
was always stuff like that. They do like, all right, we got our new intern. His nickname's Butt Wipe. We're just going to call him that the whole time. He's talking to the mic, Butt Wipe. That's the kind of stuff they used to do in radio. At least now you could just be QT. It's a much better way to live your life. Trust me. Speaking of much better ways to live your life, one Chiefs player is waiting for an absolute mountain of cash. That player is Chris Jones. There's more reporting today about where the Chiefs are, according to that. Jeff Darlington of ESPN said on SportsCenter today that, quote, the deal was likely going to be done before training camp. Doing so would lower Jones' cap it to over $28 million, according to his report. All right, so camp is a week away, Bink. If we think that this thing, now maybe 2 weeks for the veterans, percentage-wise, we think this deal gets done? Because the fact that now we're starting to hear likely to get done again, this was inside the time frame of when Nate Taylor said it would get done. I'm still like 95% this is going to get done, and I think it's just mostly related to Quinnen Williams. I don't know why he won't sign, so we can just get over the hump here. I don't know if they're playing a game of chicken between the two
both
of them.
to do by next week.
But this
It's
reporting doesn't
foregone
seem like it
conclusion.
changes much for me.
No, it doesn't.
I thought it was a foregone conclusion that they were bringing back Chris Jones.
Any
And if
kind of
not, they should
reporting I
talk
see
about
on this-
trading him or something.
Yeah, any kind of reporting I see on this, what's the obvious? They're going to sign Chris Jones. They're going to sign a guy
When?
who can play inside and outside before training camp. They're going to free up money. There's so many dominoes that can fall. You could have Chris Jones, arguably, and in my opinion, the best interior defensive lineman outside, wherever what Chris Jones lines up in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think he did surpass Aaron Donald last year, which statistically he did. I know Aaron only played 11 games. And then you get a number one wide receiver. I think two dominoes fall with an extension. It is a very important extension. The Justin Ross fan club may have to sit for a minute because that's going to shake things up with the top six if Diop ends up here.
No, it doesn't, because he's not important anyway.
It's going to
It's
shake
not-
it up.
Isn't that
bit,
a
though.
dollar?
Dude, it's not for Binkley, maybe. He's not an important player. Binkley, if DeAndre Hopkins shows up, the only person it affects is Sky Moore and Richie James. It doesn't impact anyone else. It doesn't impact Tony's role or Kelsey's or any of these. It tells you that they don't think Kadarius Toney's a one, and not because he left some voicemail on someone's DM that wasn't great. I just think that they know. Look at their wide receiver unit. I'm telling you right now, if this were any other team, we would borderline be mocking it. It's not that it doesn't have potential. It's that the best wide receiver on their entire roster had 693 yards in their best season. That's their best wide receiver right now.
Unless you sell
Had
yourself
less than
completely.
700
Kelsey's
yards.
here. Unless you completely. If Ryan Tannehill was here, yeah, that would
Dude,
be
even with Kelsey, you
yeah.
would say no. Look, if maybe it was
Mac
Joe
Jones.
Burrow and Kelsey helps soften the blow always. But if you look at the wide receivers, independent of themselves, the single best year any of them has had to date is 693 yards. Not even 700. That's MVS.
Because you had
The best year for Kadarius Toney is 420. The best year from Sky Moore is last year, obviously, at 250. The best year from Justin Watson was last year at like 299. Like it's not a superstar wide receiver unit. That's why I think the Chris Jones deal, the DeAndre Hopkins thing, it all seems related. That's why I told you earlier. I'm 100% convinced now.
Two birds, one
DeAndre
stone.
Hopkins is just waiting for the Chris Jones deal to get done so he can sign here. I know there's a most recent report about Buffalo being interested. Maybe there's some smoke there. I think Hopkins wants to go to a winner, or he would have just signed with Tennessee or signed with New England now. Those are perfectly average NFL teams by almost every standard at the moment. And he's not interested in them yet because he'd rather go to one of the teams that actually has a chance to win a Super Bowl. And it's easier for the Chiefs to get the money than it is Buffalo.
I think
'Cause the Chiefs
Buffalo.
can get it just by signing Chris Jones.
I think Buffalo ought to be the one making the hardcore press for him.
They're way more desperate
because their window is shutting. Like you said, they're desperate, and they're building a new stadium. You know, put him with Stephon Diggs. You got Josh Allen. Try to win now. Like, to me, Buffalo is the team that's more desperate than, and not only that, it's keep away from the Chiefs. Because the last thing you want to see is D-Hop in Kansas City if you're Buffalo or Cincinnati. It's the last thing you want to see.
Worst possible news for you. Yeah.
So you sign them to play keep away. That helps as well.
I mean, I get that. I think that they just have to do it because of what we talked about earlier. They don't have a single Super Bowl win in their franchise's history. And now Josh Allen is expensive. And they got Von Miller under contract for all this money. And now Diggs is a liability officially. So maybe you got one more year of keeping him happy because this is exactly the way he got himself out of Minnesota. And they're starting to show real signs of dysfunction. And I think that is undeniable at this point. Maybe. But they should be more desperate, which is why if D-Hop ends up here, which I think he will, then the rest of the league hates it. Because it is the only remaining actual question mark. Go through the units one by one. They're the best quarterback in the NFL. They have a top 5 offensive line. They have a very stable running game. It's not a question. They were second in the NFL in sacks last year and only lost a combined, I think it's 11 sacks between Saunders and Frank Clark and Dunlap.
You have a quarterback
12.
that's never lost by more than one score, but 3 times in his history, once the Super Bowl.
Yeah. ESPN just ranked linebacker units in the NFL and had the Chiefs at 3rd. The secondary, they have put impossible amounts of resources into that and have shown tons of success. It's like, where's the weak spot? Wide receiver is the only logical one, maybe defensive line depth. But if you take away wide receiver by adding DeAndre Hopkins to go with a traded for Kadarius Toney and 2 guys they've taken in back-to-back second-round picks and the depth that they have at other trusted positions, it's done. It's a wrap.
Well, you think
They'll
about
be
the depth of
definitively
wide
the favorite
receiver.
to win the Super Bowl versus just the favorite.
There's not a lot of things to worry about when you go to camp. But I think the wide receivers, I think there's some calming effect that Mahomes is here.
Yeah.
I do. I think there's a calming effect. Who's going to be Marvin Harrison? Who's going to be Reggie Wayne? You don't want a bunch of Brandon Stokley's.
It doesn't matter. It's Kelsey. Like, it's Kelsey until it's not. That's the big benefit. Anytime you go back through there, Dallas Clark was like a 500-yard receiver. He was essentially the MVS of the group. Travis Kelsey is their number 1 wide receiver until proven otherwise. But if you add DeAndre Hopkins to it, like, because I think people are like, well, then he's just going to be like an innings eater, right? He's just like a monster, just taking too many targets. I'm like, are you kidding? Nobody in the Chiefs offense does that. And Tyreek Hill used to do that, and they were the number 1 offense in the NFL. They had 2 guys who took all the targets on the team for like 4 consecutive years, and during that stretch, maintained the single greatest scoring offense over that 4-year run out of anyone. So why couldn't they absorb DeAndre Hopkins? Just real quick, why couldn't they? Tyreek Hill used to have 140 targets here, and it was fine. So you're telling me now DeAndre Hopkins couldn't come in here and have 140 targets and it wouldn't be fine? Someone's like, do you really want somebody getting more targets than Kelsey? Maybe. Does it prolong his career? Does it take a little heat off the guy who's been carrying the damn offense for the entire year last year? Said it was the most injured he'd ever been? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe 1 year where he takes less catches until it matters? I don't see a harm there.
I think it helps Rashee Rice, too, because similar size. D-Hop's 6'1", about 212, 213. Yeah. I mean, big. Chiefs do not have that. I mean, they do with MVS, but does he play to that size? Because MVS is taller. He's 6'4". But D-Hop, you bring that physicality, create separation, and becomes that guy that really the Chiefs are coveting and looking for, that they kind of want Rashee Rice to be going forward. Because Rashee Rice and Richie James are the only additions. You had a subtraction. A big subtraction. You're leading receivers in New England.
Yeah.
Somebody they won it for 2 years.
Guy who had 917 yards and would have been over 1,000
would have been over
1,000
healthy. But that was the guy they coveted for 2 years. Finally got him last year.
And again, no other wide receiver on the staff has ever had 700 yards. So it's like people try to pretend like it's instantly replaceable. A lot of that's whether or not you believe in Toney. And I'm not saying I don't believe in Toney. He's an unknown.
You want to see it.
And I don't like, it's stupid things. I don't think that his social media presence, but sometimes it's like, okay, are you really going to you got such a big year ahead of you. Do you really want to get in fights with people on Twitter? I don't know how big of a deal you think it is, but come on, do we have to do this? That's really how I feel about it. Come on, man. You and I are both parents. It feels like when you're talking to your kid and they're doing something stupid big and you're like, really? Really? Did I even have to tell you this was a bad idea? Did anyone have to tell you this was a bad idea? Why are we even having this conversation?
You heard Michael Vick when he was on with Tyreek Hill's podcast, right? About Andy Reid being the father figure you don't want to make you mad.
Yeah.
He'd call you over. Hey, Reid, come over here and talk.
And you're like, oh.
Yeah. That's exactly.
Well, now Tony's got to show up in the facility and do a little chatty chat with Andy.
Kind of like walk by, your hands up by your head, like
I hope Andy didn't see that one. And you can tell the players. You can tell the players that don't care that Andy does that. Like Marcus Peters never seemed to care that Andy was having those talks with him.
But the respect level with the
never
rest.
bothered him. He just moved on. And at the end of his time, I don't think Justin Houston cared anymore because the team wasn't getting where they wanted to go fast enough that he had just been like, I'm not doing this anymore. You're not going to get me in trouble because I said something. You kind of want him to be afraid of Andy. I don't want Kadarius Toney getting in people's DMs doing stupid stuff. It's such a minor thing. It's not like I think that, this is why I question whether he can be good. No, he just said a dumb thing in a DM.
Well, you remember Justin Reed's smack talk? We didn't know the Bengals players.
Oh, yeah.
That quickly subsided. Quickly subsided.
Yeah. The next time, remember, he was just like, they're a great team, and I wish them the best.
Gosh, there's so much fun stuff that goes between these teams.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Mayor, this is.
Oh, God, that mayor.
This is why I selfishly wanted the Bengals in week 1.
But you knew
Instead
they weren't
of the Lions.
But you knew they weren't going to do that.
I was hoping for it. I wanted Andy Reid to have all summer long to wait for the Bengals.
This idiot.
One big bye week.
Yeah, we're ready.
The Bengals play the Chiefs week 17, and I've got nothing else to add.
Oh, that was the later one. That one was when he actually cleaned up his act. Versus whatever he had said to, that was the Orlando Brown one. Smart. Versus, what was the one he had, God, what was it that he said? It's just the dumbest thing. That's
Well, the war's been going on for a while with these teams.
Yeah. And should be, because it's the best rivalry in the NFL, and it's not particularly close.
Although the Niners and Eagles are getting pretty close, too. Did you hear about Deebo Samuel hanging up the phone on an interview?
Yeah, they're getting close.
He was done. The PR person came on there and said, yeah, he left or whatever for the 49ers. When Zach Gelb had him on.
Yep.
But that's getting close. Those teams absolutely despise each other.
Coming up in about 15 minutes, I will tell you one thing about the Royals that shouldn't surprise you, and I've got a question about something related to my family, Bink. I think maybe you'd be able to get a little advice on. But before the show, Quentin had asked us a question. He's compiled a list of the current first or second team All-Pros on the Kansas City Chiefs, and he had a simple question that was, who will be the person who joins this list most recently? Quentin, remind me of the current first or second team All-Pros for the Chiefs as it currently sits. Okay. Mahomes, Kelsey, Jones.
Mm-hmm. Tommy Townsend, Joe Thuney, and Creed Humphrey have all received some sort of All-Pro metric since they've been in the league. So that's, you're on a Super Bowl winning team. It's a pretty short list, I feel like, relatively.
That's 6 All-Pros. That ain't bad.
Yeah, 6. There's been a ton of turnover in this roster, but we know how young this team is, right? So who's the guy that steps up and gets that All-Pro this year? I've got a couple, but I want to hear what you guys think.
Blaine Gabbert. No, I'm just kidding. I think L.J. Snead has a great chance.
Legarius, huh?
Yeah, Legarius starting to get that respect. His coverability.
I know, man. But you got to be
quarterback.
You got to be an interception guy to be an All-Pro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Not a pick guy.
I think Snead. This will definitely help the contract going forward. I think Snead could get there. If you're asking me who could be there, Nick Bolton probably would be the top answer.
Oh, Nick. So there's the thing. I don't have anything against Nick Bolton, but I'm not 100% sure yet that Nick Bolton is an All-Pro.
But his numbers,
I know that he just came on. I know.
But when you're second in the NFL in tackles, you have 180. His numbers warrant it.
Yeah, I mean, I respect that part of it. I understand that part of it. And yet still, I just don't think that that's the case. I just don't think he's the next. I think it's Trent McDuffie. Tell me why it can't be him faster. I think we're a couple of years away because I don't see anybody else who's going to make the list. Like, if it's someone who's going to make it immediately,
If
it's
that's what
probably
you're saying,
Nick
you're
Bolton.
saying don't re-sign Snead.
I'm not saying just because I don't think he's an all-pro doesn't mean I don't think he should be re-signed.
Can I go James Winchester?
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
They do have long snappers, first team and second team. He's been going at it for a long time, though.
I think Trey Smith might be the guy, just because if you're on one of the better offensive lines, right, and he starts getting some of the credit.
Maybe guard.
I think that. And then the other one, I also think Nick Bolton is a good answer. That was my number one. My final one is Kadarius Toney, right? If he comes up and does what Kansas City thinks that he can do, let's say he has the perfect version of Kadarius Toney, I think that he could stand out as a first or second team all-pro receiver.
Oh, man.
He's got a ways to go to jump the guys in front of him. I think he's got a further way to go than like a Nick Bolton, somebody like that.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got a further way to go. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to put up 1,600 yards.
The biggest problem with wide receivers, first and second team all-pro, do you know how many great wide receivers there are?
You got to get at least 1,600 yards.
It is a mass, at least. Kadarius Toney would have to quadruple. Legitimately quadruple his production in order to be in the list.
I think Trey Smith, once you get in that club.
I think Trey McDuffie a couple
of years
from
now. Once you get in that club, then, yeah, the accolades are going to start falling like rain for Trey Smith.
Especially because, if this offensive line is what we think it's going to be, one of the top offensive lines in football, Trey Smith has sort of been here in Kansas City. We talk a lot about Creed Humphrey, as we should. Creed is good. But, Trey Smith has been a step below Creed Humphrey in terms of his, quality of play. And as he gets older and better and plays on a really good offensive line, a team we know is going to be successful throughout the year, I think he can get that. He can get that nod.
So, the text line is like, hey, are you saying Bolton isn't this because he went to Mizzou? Nick Bolton. That seems to be the regular answer. And I'm not saying it's not about where he went to school. I don't care. I didn't have some big college football allegiance growing up, so we'll just stick to that.
That's your big UMKC football fan.
I just think Nick Bolton is a very good linebacker. I just don't think he's an all-pro linebacker. I think there are 5 to 7 to 8 linebackers.
I think he's better than Derek Johnson.
The other part, you think he's better than Derek Johnson
I absolutely
ever
do.
was?
I absolutely do.
If Nick Bolton stays here for his whole career, he will break Derek Johnson's tackle
He'll be the
record.
all-time leading tackler. It took Derek a while. I love Derek Johnson. He's one of my favorite players ever. But I'm just saying, Nick Bolton, the way he came in, he missed no time, man. He just went.
And
he was just good.
Derek Johnson was in the doghouse under Todd Haley for a while, too.
He was for a while. But Nick Bolton's, I think, a guy that when it's all said and done, I'm with you. I think if he stays with the Chiefs in their contract, I think he is the all-time leading tackler. He's a tackling machine, man.
I know, but you know what you have to be an all-pro linebacker? You also have to be good in coverage. All-pro is all-pro for a reason. I think it was ESPN who put out a list.
That's what held him back.
Of, they talked to all the executives, and they put out their list of, hey, the top 10 at every position. Nick Bolton's on there. The rest of the NFL agrees with you that Nick Bolton is one of the best players at his position in the NFL, but they still put other people into his second season. It's great, but they still put other people ahead of him. Fred Warner, Micah Parsons. The problem he's going to have at his position, from an all-pro standpoint, just seriously, is that some linebackers are pass rushers. He's just a tackling linebacker.
Think about it.
He's an inside linebacker. That's a tough place. There's limited value there.
Do you know how close he was to Super Bowl MVP?
Oh,
you know how close he gets that second touchdown. 100% Nick Bolton is a Super Bowl MVP. If I said name 2 names that you wish were all pros, first or second team, very easy for me.
Choose pass rushers, Karlaftis and McDuffie.
It's Juwan Taylor or Donovan Smith.
One of them two would be
tackles. If those guys got it, okay, we're good.
Karlaftis would be mine. Give me another guy on the defensive line that, give me that, and then we'll have a different conversation. I'd be very open to that. So that's a completely different edge. But I would just take those. Maybe, I guess, Juwan Taylor, that'd be cool, I guess. But
and Donovan's
I'll take the pass
at
rushers
this point, but
I'll take those guys. I just think Bolton's got it's the same thing at wide receiver. That is an uphill climb position. Honestly, the answer might be Harrison Butker. You've never been an all-pro. You just make all your kicks one year. Congrats.
There's a certain guy in Baltimore that has a say
he's held back by that damn turf
you
in
said
Arizona
first or
in week
second
1.
team. Some of the guys you listed are second team. He'd
That's
still
true.
have to be behind Justin Tucker, sure. But, maybe it could be the second one. That's it.
See, Butker at this point, gosh, was the NFL scoring leader 2019. Just looking, was on the rookie team. You're the Pro Bowl and All-Pro evading him.
Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything, so you shouldn't even worry about that. An absolutely meaningless
but
award.
You know what, though? It doesn't, but everybody gets it. But if you don't have a Pro Bowl, when everybody gets it, then you're like, whoa, why not at least a Pro Bowler? Because everybody's a Pro Bowler.
Feels a little bit different on that case.
When I turn it on, Derek Carr's in the damn game every year. It's like, what the hell?
It's like getting to the Pro Bowl doesn't mean much. It's not getting to the Pro Bowl that becomes the problem.
Yeah, because like everybody gets in it. How come I'm not in it?
Yeah, if you have 0 Pro Bowls, your names, then I actually have questions. But actually getting in,
It's like you didn't sneak in with all the injuries or guys that, especially quarterbacks, man. Like every quarterback, I don't care how bad you are, you're in the Pro Bowl.
Training camp just a week away. Don't forget, all of our Chiefs conversations are driven by Max Motors. As again, we will be talking more Chiefs just a week from now. But when we come back, the world's going to do something, and you shouldn't be surprised by it anymore.
Cody and Gold, live from the Chiefs practice field this summer. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
Hey, this is Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I buy houses for cash. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, grab a pencil. I'm going to give you a very important phone number in 40 seconds. I'm a private real estate investor. I live right here in KC, and I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at KC Real Estate Buyers, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind-in-payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com. And I look forward to working with you.
My friends at Window World asked me to tell you about a very special auction benefiting Action for Autism. Action for Autism is a Missouri organization that provides therapy and learning for kids ages 2 to 21 to help them prepare for a successful future. You can bid on a whole home renovation worth $40,000. To place your bid, go to the Kansas City Chiefs website or windowskc.com. The bidding starts at $15,000. The auction will close on July 27th, and it's so easy to register. The renovation package includes windows, exterior wrapped, insulated siding, gutters, doors, and much more. Every penny of the proceeds go to Action for Autism. You can make a donation. If you choose not to submit a bid, all you need to do is go to windowskc.com for all the details. 1 out of 68 children born today are diagnosed with autism, and you can make a difference in these kids' lives by making a bid or a donation at windowskc.com today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars Lose the Weight or Stop Smoking, only $49.99. Seminar Wednesday, August 9th, Wingate Hotel in Kansas City. Weight loss 5:30 p.m., Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Occupied. Hurry up.
Go away. I'm enjoying my hot shower.
Yeah, we'd all like to. Hot water hug.
That's it. Family meeting. We can all enjoy long, steaming, hot showers, even the last in line, which it seems is always me. But go ahead, have that imaginary argument of what you should have said. Take your time. With our new high-efficiency Navien tankless water heater, I'll never take a cold shower again. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com to learn more.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Cody and Gold will be live from the practice field during training camp this summer with live press conferences, exclusive one-on-one player interviews. Tune in weekdays starting at 10 right here on 610 Sports Radio. KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty. Always live on the free Odyssey app. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending. First up on What's Trending, Vlad Guerrero Jr., winner of the Home Run Derby last night. Obviously, that kicking off the All-Star Game festivities in Seattle. The All-Star Game will be tonight, as you can imagine. Vlad wasn't like the big performer early on. Obviously, that was Julio Rodriguez, who put a 42, I
41.
think? 41 in the first round, but eventually went on to win it. That was the question our guy Kurt Nelson over the Royals had asked me yesterday because we were talking about the...
Didn't Vlad have a previous record of 40?
Yeah, but we were talking about the Josh Hamilton performance. He's like, he didn't win that Home Run Derby, right? I said, yeah, it was Justin Morneau of all people. So, yeah, of all the funny things, of course, it's never the guy who puts on the biggest show. It's usually the guy who just kind of lasts the longest. But kudos to Vlad Guerrero Jr. It was a pretty good Home Run Derby last night, and he is now... did his dad ever win it?
He did.
Okay.
It's
nice.
only father-son combo to win.
Well,
Legends
cool.
game, Cody.
Legends game. Get Vlad, older
Hall
Vlad,
of Famer.
right?
Yeah, bring them both in. I actually enjoyed the Home Run Derby last night.
It's always a little bit too long. I feel like they could tighten up ship a little bit, but I understand why they carry it as long as they do.
Well, I was there in Cincinnati when Frazier won. So you had the hometown guy winning it. I mean, there's nothing better when the crowd gets behind their guy. It's kind of what the fans wanted in 12 when Butler. They wanted to see Billy Butler.
Yeah.
Not Boo Cano. But
put a local. I think you should just always put a local person in the Derby. It's the easiest decision amongst all.
People get behind
whoever
them
the best
and everything.
home run hitter is in there. I don't care if they're a good or a bad home run hitter. Let the home team have a guy. It's not that complicated. I wish more Royals were capable of getting in it more often.
And don't talk over the person's performance and give them their shot.
The one time the Royals actually got a second player in there that wasn't even in their home city was Salvador Perez, and they didn't even discuss him hitting the second most home runs in any particular round that time.
What did Moose do? It was Miami, wasn't it? when Moose is in it.
Yeah, so frustrating.
Not that you're still upset by that at all, Cody.
No, not holding any residual anger about that even a little bit.
Tyson Fury to get into the into fighting against Francis Ngannou. Done deal. As of this morning, officially announced October 28th. Boxing match. Tyson Fury going at it again.
So
that guy's
but
just
Francis Ngannou is like an MMA guy, right?
I think so. Yeah. So
I don't feel like that's a very smart decision by you then.
Tyson Fury is a bad dude.
Yes. Wait, like as a person?
Look,
or just...
No, a bad dude in the ring.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the person. I know nothing about that. I'm just saying, guy can fight.
I think it might be both. Let's be honest.
I don't know. That's a guy you don't want a bar fight with.
Okay.
Do you? You gonna pick on Tyson Fury?
No, don't think so. Next up on What's Trending, a report says that the Chiefs are optimistic about getting a deal done with Chris Jones before training camp. I'm always interested when the reporters are being that vague. Define before training camp. Rookies show up next Wednesday. Before that day? Or before like a week after that when everyone will be at training camp in the July 22nd, 23rd range?
Do you think they know? Or do you
either
think
way,
they're playing
we're talking about
copycat?
inside of 2 weeks.
Do you think they actually know? Or do you think there's one guy that actually knows? And everybody else just jumps in line and copycats with what they said? Like we see a lot of the draft.
Sure. I'm sure that there's some
everybody's
of
got
that.
these reports on Pro Football Talk's got them now because of Darlington going.
Like I could put out a
Darlington
report right
might
now
be the
that
one
said,
guy.
I've heard, according to my source, that the Chiefs are very close with Chris Jones. Nobody could negate
Cody
it.
Tapp says.
I just said very close, and then if it falls through, like, you know what? Vague reporting is the easiest thing to be right or wrong on. I've decided. I've decided for all my radio career, I don't want to be scoop guy.
You know
it's
what?
not.
It's
like
going to rain
so much
sometime.
work.
It's going to rain. I don't know when, but it's going to rain.
Yeah.
You would never do that, Cody, because
Sources
you're an
say.
honest journalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hold yourself to high
I'm
standards.
not even sure I'm a journalist anymore. There was at some point when I was that in my life, Bink, but I'm not sure I'm a journalist anymore. You think I'm a journalist still? I feel like entertainer.
Are we really? Yeah, we're not really journalists.
I think at some point in my life I was a journalist.
I used to have a
when I was
motto.
doing like documentaries for local TV and stuff maybe, but
I used to have a motto back in the day. We don't break news, we just break chairs. We were all large fellas. So
it's a lot of work to break news.
It is a lot of work to break
I've
news.
actually had
no problem. I've only broken it one time.
Big news? I've broken some small news.
It was some Chiefs news.
Okay. What was it?
Only one time. Is Dontari Poe signed again with the Chiefs or something like that. But what was funny is because I looked at Pro Football Talk and I looked at all these guys and I wanted to see if I beat them. I never really cared, but it was just kind of fun.
So see if you could win once.
And I was at Prairie Brand. I'll never forget. And there I was, like 16 seconds or 30. Because what you do is there's a chain. And when GMs release information to a reporter, you can see who gets it first, second, third, and on down the line by who puts it out first. Basically, you better be on your damn phone.
Constantly.
But it's the one time.
I've had breaking news I didn't break. I'm just like, it's fine. Somebody else will do it.
I'm usually just.
It's not that important to me.
What breaking news did you hold on to?
Lots of it. Lots of it's never important breaking news. That's part of the problem. I've known when players were headed to the IL ahead of times or having to, but they're just like, I don't care.
I knew when Jody Fortson was coming off, but I didn't say anything. Coming off the IR.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't.
Because of cleats.
You know what the biggest piece of breaking news that I couldn't confirm with a second source that everyone had in this city, not just me? Alex Gordon getting his contract. Everyone knew it. I actually sat in front of Kauffman Stadium for, what did they send me out there? I was out there for 6 hours on 2 days before it was announced because we all knew that it was going to be Alex Gordon. He was going to get this big contract. And I sat out there waiting for the news to break so we could do a report. It didn't get broken that day. And then like 4 days later, I'm like, okay. And the source was good. And I'm like, all right, I'm not. It's like, you get a second source. Pass. I don't care. I'm not doing this. Have you seen the way those guys live? Have you seen the way guys like Schefter live? It's too much. It's too much.
You can't relax. You can't be at the beach, having a cocktail, whatever. You make it breaking news.
No. It's like, I just happened to be on the boat too long at the lake, and now problem solved. Now I can't break any news.
You know, my thing is that you don't take someone's information. You just hit retweet.
You know what?
You hit retweet.
I'm going to break one piece of news for the rest of my career. I'm going to ask Vinny Pasquantino that he lets me break the news of his contract extension. That's it. That'll be the next piece of, or Creed Humphrey. I'm going to text those two people.
Creed would be good.
I'm going to try to get the exclusive on their extensions. That's it.
So you want to be Cody Tapp reports?
Yeah, just those two reports. I don't want to break any other news. That'll be the end of it.
Cody Tapp.
Lastly, on What's Trending, Northwestern has officially fired head coach Pat Fitzgerald after their local after they broke some news from their local school newspaper amid the hazing claims. Obviously, he'd been suspended for some of this stuff, but as more and more came out, they eventually decided to let him go. He is already threatening lawsuit stuff.
He had a 2-week
saying he's not
suspension.
going out this way.
It was funny. It was weird because on the drive yesterday, Rob and I talking about the Fitzgerald. He was suspended for 2 weeks or whatever. We're like, this is not going to hold up. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the show, he's fired. That's how quickly things changed. That's a very, very, very ugly deal at Northwestern. And I'm shocked because I had Pat Fitzgerald on years ago. I mean, he seemed like, you never know what goes on behind closed doors, do you? You never know. You never know. And Fitzgerald is the example.
No.
I mean, seriously, no. Never heard anything bad coming out of there.
And then all the people who went to Northwestern
until
yesterday,
when you see these reports, you're like,
like,
whoa.
just say nothing.
Well, when you see these reports, like, whoa, are you kidding me? It's terrible.
God. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Basically, the text line is saying that you broke the breaking news, the Mahomes cereal. Did you break that news?
Oh, Lee Steinberg came on, and I had him on to talk about Mahomes and all that. And he brought up the fact of cereal. He did bring up, I think even named the name of it, the Mahomes Magic Crunch or whatever. I forgot about that. But I don't know if that's, well, I guess that's my kind of breaking news to be honest.
That's the level of news I just hold on to for no reason. Oh, wow. Could he got big news? I'm like, not really. It's just news.
Well, let's try to break something.
I once watched Brian Goodwin pack up his entire locker, hug a bunch of people, and say goodbye to everyone. So we're like, okay, well, he's gone in spring training. And we asked the Royals, we're like, hey, will you just confirm this so we can all just send this out? And they're like, well, we can't confirm that yet. I'm like, confirm what? I watched him give people hugs. I saw him put his stuff into a bag and leave. He's clearly not on the team anymore. And then I was on a plane back to Kansas City, and somebody else broke it. I was like, okay, well, that's
the last straw for you?
This is the end of news breaking. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Well, I could have just fired off a tweet, right? Like, Brian Goodwin's not going to be with the team anymore. Trust me, okay? Because of my eyes. I don't have a source. I'm looking at him, and he packed his stuff up, and he's gone. He's not going to be a member of the team anymore.
You know what my favorite is? When people say, so-and-so had it first. So-and-so, it's like, okay, I appreciate you giving them credit, but who really cares?
Yeah, I don't.
Although I will say it with you.
Honestly,
like Cody Tapp had this first.
It's just
at the poker table.
Yeah, it's just
he let us all
work.
Know.
It's just more work than I wanted to.
There could be some breaking news at the poker table you have.
Maybe.
With those sources?
There are some people who work for organizations who sometimes play for those things. So,
well, the poker table that you have could be some good information. That's what you ought to sell in your auction.
Coming to play poker at my house?
Oh, think about the Chiefs minds you have there.
Can I?
The Chiefs reporting. Sometimes you have Nate Taylor there, Pete Sweeney, Matt Derrick.
Yeah, can we do a background check? I just want to make sure that I'm invited. They're going to come to my home. They're going to know where I live.
All right, well, I'll ask you this question. Since I asked Rob yesterday, and he sat on the fence.
Okay.
You have a choice. You like to make dinner. Obviously, you're a hell of a cook. The cheese you make is fantastic, by the way. I'm speaking of poker.
Thanks.
It is. It's really good cheese. That's why I like poker night so well. Your damn cheese.
I do like to make.
You can have one dinner guest for you, your wife, and your kids. And your choices are X Factor or Chiefsaholic. Which one are you having the dinner?
So wait, is there?
You got to pick one of them. You can't say neither. You got to pick one of them. Chiefsaholic. I'm not saying watch your kids. I'm saying you're there, whatever. Just X Factor or Chiefsaholic. I'll ask the text line too because I asked them yesterday when I was with Rob. 913-586-7610. Dinner party, X Factor, or Chiefsaholic. Very simple. What a hell of a party, by the way.
I don't want to go to that party at all.
You want me to step in here while you think about it?
Yeah, sure.
Who are you thinking?
Chiefsaholic's going to have a mini doc made out of him, so I already know his life. Like, I'm not now, but eventually I will.
Well, he's got stories. Like, that'd be good dinner stories.
What kind of dinner do you like going?
No,
Did you read some of the reports? He said some super violent stuff to those people.
I'm sure there's stories, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you really give a damn what X Factor has to say? No,
that's a good point. It'd probably be Chiefsaholic just because, I'm sure he seems to have lived a more interesting life, but,
What about Weird Wolf?
What?
Remember Belly Boy?
No, I don't remember.
You remember Belly Boy?
Belly Boy?
It was in the old days, like back in old school days. Like he had this big belly and he had belly boy written around his belly button.
Breaking news here in the Cody and Gold. Kadarius Toney has addressed his DM voicemail that appears for him to be very angry about Daniel Jones. He says, quote, on Twitter, "My apologies, I got hacked." It's your voice. Hacked in what way?
AI.
It's your
AI. No.
Dude,
AI takes your voice. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
AI voicemails. There's a voicemail going around now where people say someone's in jail. It's your voice doing it. Was he hacked by AI? Artificial intelligence got Tony.
He also retweeted somebody who said Giants fans are missing Kadarius Toney so bad, they're letting us all know how much they don't miss him.
Hacked.
If he's retweeting, no, dude, he did not get hacked. He's lying. Kadarius Toney wants us to believe.
Do you know the dangers of artificial intelligence?
Dude, come on.
Cody, until it's happened to you, it's like, whoa, this could happen. It's your voice. They even have videos with your voice and you talking, and it's artificial intelligence. Kadarius Toney's been hacked.
So a hacker got his account and then decided I'm gonna respond to one person.
That's crazy.
One person's DMs.
It shouldn't happen that way, but it did. It looks like.
Here's the thing. I think at this point you just gotta say, like, sorry, bro, and wipe your hands and move on with your life. The thing is, especially like you brought up earlier, Cody, it's the All-Star break, so there's nothing else, going on. So this is just going to be
Big 12 Day start tomorrow.
This is going to be the story that we're going to talk about. And it's like, if you just been like, my bad, let's all move on, that's probably what we would have done. But now you talk about how you're hacked, and now you just extended the life of the story.
I mean, yeah, he should have just ignored it. QT sounded like a real journalist there. Extending the life of the story. You could just say nothing, and then people would forget about it. I was prepared.
Artificial intelligence, Cody.
I was prepared to not discuss the Kadarius Toney story anymore, and yet here we are. Quentin, by the way, someone's here to pick up that Neil Smith card. So,
all right, I'll go get it. One question for
visitor
Bink.
park.
How many tinfoil hats do you own?
I don't own any. What are you saying, Quentin?
Oh, it's just
I have
talking
seen Sasquatch and I have seen an alien.
Okay.
And I have partied with Ghost. And Cody.
I mean, I guess we partied a little. I've
had cheese.
He didn't get hacked. Okay.
Artificial
like the text line is right.
Very dangerous.
Best troll apology ever. He doesn't even mean that he actually got hacked. He's not even being truthful.
Well, what do you say when you're busted with steroids? Well, I took some.
I tainted
medicine.
meat. It's
I
always
took
that.
some cough medicine because I had a cough.
Yeah.
And damn it, if it's not steroids. You got to play that card. Hacked.
He wasn't hacked. He knows he wasn't hacked.
You think Joe Burrow was hacked? You said we'll see him in December?
No, I don't think that was it. Like, I don't.
Do you think that was really Joe Burrow?
Just out of curiosity, I've been around a lot of athletes over the course of this job now. And some of them, their problematic behavior is a problem and becomes a problem. And others, it's not. So I get to just now guess whether Kadarius Toney getting mad at Giants fans and his DMs is a problem or not. You and I both know this could be absolutely nothing at all and not a sign of any kind of.
Give him a free pass.
problem.
We don't know him well.
Yeah.
Hacked.
That's how I feel. Not hacked. I'm not giving him a free pass on that. I'm only giving him a free pass on.
Moving on. Hacked.
The decision making.
AI.
Oh, God.
Hacked.
Not AI.
A sucker
There
of the
are
times.
hundreds of hours of our voices. Are you saying someone at any point is just going to hack my Twitter account and then start responding to my DMs that are open, by the way?
I saw
so
something
maybe
on
I should
60
change
Minutes
that.
that would blow your mind. Talk about AI. I've seen these videos where it's the person's voice and face, and it's not them. AI.
I know that. I know.
I
AI
think
is
it's got Tony.
to say AI.
I think it's got Kadarius.
No, he said it. He's just saying
I'm going
he
to
was
get a
hacked
jersey of
because he thinks
his that
it's
says
funny.
hacked.
His number?
Yes. Well, I'm too big for that number because I have jersey size numbers for how size you are.
And what's Kadarius Toney's number?
Was he wearing 19 again this year?
That's a 2-digit number. Is that no good?
Well, no, it's not because, Tyreek Hill wore a 2-digit number as well. And when you saw a guy that was 300 pounds trying to stretch out that 1 and 0, you look like crap.
So you think you got to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s?
If you're
You
three
need two
spins,
big numbers?
you better be rocking a Chris Jones, Juwan Taylor, a Joe Tooney,
Two
Creed
big
Humphrey, Trey Smith. Stay away from Mahomes. Stay away from any receiver.
Okay.
I'd probably even stay away from Kelsey. If you're 300 to 350.
87? You can't wear 87?
Unless you're real tall. I wouldn't do it. If you're 300, 350 pounds, it looks so silly if the 8 and 7 stretched out. It does. You also don't want to see a real skinny dude rocking
Creed's
Trey
number?
Smith's jersey. Or do you really want to see like a guy 150 pounds soaking wet wearing a Creed Humphrey jersey?
Sure, I don't care.
No.
What do I care? Wear whatever jersey you want.
Do you want to see a dude 400 pounds rocking a Kadarius Toney? No. I just think there's this different size.
What about Mahomes? Does that go across the board?
No.
Wow. So if you can't even have a Mahomes jersey?
I mean, if you're like 250 pounds, from up to 250 or something like that, but know your role, man. Give linemen some love. Or some D-line jerseys. How about a nice Mike Dana? Well, now these defensive linemen can wear, in the single digits now, so who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, Carlos Dunlap was wearing number 1 last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe like a couple of guys are switched to that.
But stay with offensive. Like you would probably, Cody, you could rock anything. You could rock Mahomes. You could rock Pacheco. You could rock Richie James. Kadarius Toney. Trent McDuffie. In the defensive backs. But if I was you, I'd stay away from Karlaftis.
Okay.
I'd stay away from Chris Jones.
Man, that means I can't wear.
You can wear Mahomes.
Creed Humphrey, man.
Blaine Gabbert. Wear Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert's number. I'm not trying to wear Blaine Gabbert's number. Coming up in 10 minutes, we will get to something that's going on with the Chargers that Binkley thinks is of note. But real quick, don't forget, Jefferson's is celebrating being named your favorite wings by the Kansas City Star with a great deal. They're offering 50-cent wings all week at their Lenexa and North Kansas City locations. Not only that, but anybody, Bink, who goes in the door will be entered to win free wings for a year. We've been to Jefferson's multiple times a year on the show. Hit them up. Celebrate the fact that they've been named the favorite wings by the Kansas City Star. They are fantastic. 50-cent wings all week in Lenexa and North Kansas City. And again, you'll have a chance to be entered for free wings for a year. I got to ask our guy, Nick Price, who used to work here. Guy who runs it. I got to ask him whether or not I can still be entered for that, even though I work here and I'm saying that. I'd like to be considered for free wings for a year. That North Kansas City location is very close to me.
Very close.
Well, with the amount of decks you have on your house, I think you can afford full cent wings.
I know, but
you do have a lot of decks.
You've been to my house.
It's a great house.
As we previously just said.
I don't go anywhere, though. Come to your garage, sit at your poker table, eat your cheese. I casually leave.
Someone says jerseys are for children only.
There's a lot of hate for jerseys on the text line.
Rob won't wear one either, I found out. He'll put it on like the new Kansas jerseys came out. They're pretty sweet looking.
Yeah.
Not a Kansas fan whatsoever. Rob is, though. He's like, you get one of these. He put it on the wall as a display, but he's not going to wear it. I'm not a big jersey guy. The last jersey I bought was Derek Thomas. He's retired at that point.
That was the last one you bought?
Derek
Then
Thomas.
You can't be policing everyone's jersey usage. The last jersey
But I
you
was
bought
fine.
was
I
in
was the right size for it.
1990.
I was the right size for it.
Yeah. I still
Know
question
your
it.
role.
I still question it.
Jabroni?
I own 2 jerseys. I got a Tony Gonzalez jersey when I was like 16.
You can pull that off.
And I have an Eric Hosmer World Series jersey.
Like he wore in the World Series, it just has the patch.
It was the one he wore to the World Series, Cody.
Well, he played in many World Series games. You never know.
If you're over 300 pounds, go numberless jersey of baseball. If you're doing
So if you're a
baseball.
300 pound, you can't even wear a baseball jersey.
Well, just numberless.
just
without a number. Just without a number. Just go without it.
Baseball jerseys are the most comfortable.
Can't you at least wear like a Prince Fielder jersey? Can't you support a fellow former big man
What was he?
baseball
40,
player?
Was he 45?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, man. That's pushing it.
What do you mean it's pushing it? He was the size of the person you're saying can't wear the jersey. Prince Fielder Jr. was 5'11", 275. You're telling me?
Well,
I'm three
what was
bills?
his number? Because his dad was 45, wasn't he? The Prince Fielder. I didn't say
Cecil?
Prince Fielder. Cecil Fielder. Excuse me, Cecil Fielder.
Was that you're talking about? Yeah, I was talking about
Yeah, Big
Prince.
Cess.
Let's see.
Is Big Cess 45?
He was, very important that we get to this.
Very important.
He was 6'3", 275 in his playing days, and he wore number 45. I think you can wear that. I think you're safe.
Did you ever
Wear
think
whatever
you'd
you want.
sit
Don't
by
let him-
somebody who knew Cecil Fielder's number?
What about Bartolo Colon?
Ooh, another good one.
Or Anston Dio. Like if you're looking for
With David Wells.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You should be able to support the bigger baseball
perfect,
player.
man.
Yeah, that's a
Bartolo Colon had the ultimate dad bod out there pitching and hitting home runs.
Dude, he was one of the most fun players to watch because he didn't care. He was just enjoying his life, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. I don't think any of this qualifies. I don't think we should be limiting those things. But when we come back here on Cody and Gold, there's something going on in the AFC West with the Chargers, and Bink and I want to get to the bottom of it.
There's Kelsey to the end zone.
Cody and Gold brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com. Don't miss the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day at 11:30 on your official broadcast partner of the Chiefs, 610 Sports Radio.
Make purchasing your home fast and easy with a low fixed rate in the 5s from Cap One Lending. We offer 0 down payment, approvals in an hour, and no payments for 2 months. Call Cap One Lending, 816-905-1111. That's 816-905-1111. Or apply at caponelending.com. What could be better than 100% loan programs with 0 down payment, approvals in an hour, and no payments for 2 months? Your first step to homeownership is knowing you're already approved with a 5-star rated lender. Call Cap One Lending now, 816-905-1111. That's 816-905-1111. Or apply at caponelending.com. That's caponelending.com.
Cap One Lending, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
Cap One Lending, a Kansas licensed mortgage company, license number MC0026341, NMLS Missouri license 2468614. Programs and rates subject to change without notice.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
We've all seen them. As soon as the big storm comes through, the storm-chasing roofers show up. Don't be a victim twice. Call locally owned, veteran-owned JR & Company. No one protects your home and you like JR.
JR's there for you. You're always better with a roof from JR.
In fact, JR & Company can let you know if you even need to be worried about storm damage. Online, visit jrhailcheck.com. Plug in your address and we'll pull a storm report. If there's nothing on the report, we'll give you hassle-free peace of mind. And if it looks like you got hit, we can come out and do a free inspection and help with any insurance claim. We'll never try to sell you a roof you don't need. But if you do need a new roof,
you're always better with a roof from JR.
Go to jrhailcheck.com.
For the best barbecue in Kansas City, go to my favorite place, Smokehouse Barbecue. Smokehouse has been family-owned and operated for over 35 years, and they've become part of our family as well. From their tremendous ribs to their delicious burnt ends, Smokehouse has something for everyone. Plus, their hickory pip beans are world famous. So visit one of their 3 locations in Independence, Gladstone, or Zona Rosa, or place your carry-out and catering orders at SmokehouseBBQ.com. For the best in barbecue, it's my favorite, Smokehouse Barbecue.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
At the Home Depot, we'll get your kitchen clicking. With savings on top brand appliances like a new LG CounterDepth Max refrigerator with ultra-large capacity on the inside and a seamless look on the outside. Or an LG oven with built-in air fryer for crispier, healthier cooking. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away, too. Final days to get special buy savings plus up to $1,000 off select kitchen appliances like this exclusive LG kitchen package at the Home Depot. Ends July 12th.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP Extended Life Oil Filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Technicians you can trust with your house keys.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. The technicians you can trust with your house keys for over 70 years. Right now, get a free water heater with your new cooling and heating system installation. Schedule online at anthonyphce.com today.
Got about 90 minutes left here in Cody and Gold. No Gold. Me, Jay Binkley. Q-Tip, intern running the board for us today.
Two guys without nicknames.
Never had a nickname.
You were Gold.
No. You call me Code Man.
Code Man.
I think that's of a certain generation, I think.
But Gold goes by in just Gold.
That's kind of a nickname. I never went by Tap either. I think it's largely because I have so many older siblings.
You go by Cody
if somebody was Tap before, it wasn't me.
Everybody's like, hey, Cody, what's up, man? Hey, Cody.
Yeah.
Cody.
You don't hear anybody call me Tap.
Or Klingler's Kling.
Yeah. Klingler's Kling.
Carrington.
Vern. That's a nickname.
C. Vern, yeah.
Does everyone else have a
Spec
nickname? Spec? I'm just Cody. Just my
well, it's a
regular
lot
name.
of times just the like Kramer's, Crame Dog.
Q-Ball has showed up on the text line a lot for me
Q-Ball, but you've got hair. I guess it's like the irony of calling
but
like
long,
a
ball,
not
like
bald.
calling a big guy
Bald.
tiny.
Have you seen Vern's head? He used to have hair.
It
happens, man.
Thank
you
you.
stay in this
Thanks.
industry long enough, 10 years from now, you won't have hair and you'll be fat.
You saying I'm not going to have hair eventually?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
No, I don't know about you because you like a full head of hair.
Yeah, but it might go eventually. You never
You're
know.
the asterisk.
You never know. Gold's got a better head of hair than I do.
And Gold's
You're talking about a guy who might not lose his hair.
Gold's thinning out a little
You
bit.
think he's thinning out?
A little bit on top.
Looks
yeah.
like a pretty full head of hair.
Vern used to have hair, man. Look at him. Look at him.
I don't know.
haven't been
if-
playing well either, so that'll make you lose your hair. But
On my father's side of the family, they've had 3 boys going back for a few generations, and one of them always goes bald. Now, on the plus side, I think my older brother might be the one that goes bald, so I might be in the clear.
don't they say it's your mom's dad?
My mom's
Your
dad had a nice head of
grandpa-
hair.
Your grandpa on your dad's side, if you're going to have hair or not.
He had a nice head of hair till he died.
There
Good
you
head
go.
of hair.
There you go. Mine
Didn't
did.
get thin for a while.
Mine didn't. It was very like me. It's just-
So far, of the 4 of us boys, none of us are bald yet. None of us have like the receding hairline
Well, the
yet.
Tap's got hair, man.
But I don't know. My dad's bald, so I mean, I feel
Well,
like
it's not your dad.
it's might get us
It's
eventually.
not your dad.
I'm also just a hairy person to begin with, as you can see from the facial hair.
Somebody did agree with my take that you look like a Mennonite. So
Yeah, which, once again, I would like to point out would be weird since I'm working in radio.
yeah, I guess But they have to accept. At this point, the Amish have accepted a certain level of technology, right?
Don't the Amish have like a week or whatever where they can go out and experience the
Rumspringa.
normal world?
I'm not sure.
Rumspringa.
Maybe I'm just on a really long 24-year Rumspringa.
Yeah, could be possible. I don't know how long Rumspringa is.
There's an awesome store on the way to the lake, I think, run by the Amish. Hoover's. It's near Stove or whatever. I always stop there. Awesome.
I keep it in mind
Awesome place.
as we're heading out that way.
Wait, are you going to the lake?
In a couple weeks.
There's that Dairy Bee in Cole Camp, too. Can't miss it. It's one of those old school, like we have in small towns, everybody's waiting in line for ice cream, but the Dairy Bee.
The Dairy Bee.
And then go outside of Stover and then get the.
You got it
the
all
Hoovers.
memorized here,
Oh, hell
Bink.
yes.
I appreciate that. Don't forget, coming up In August, we will have our used equipment sports drive. We're going to try to help out the Urban Youth Academy. You can drop off stuff whenever you want there from 9 until 6. New and gently used sports equipment all the way through August 11th. And coming up on Thursday, July 20th, Alex and I will be outside of Gate D taking your donations as well. You can also go to 610sports.com and make those monetary donations. Anything we can get to help for the sports equipment drive is big. Targeting baseball, softballs, gloves, catcher's equipment, and equipment bags. I'm actually going to go through my own stuff here, Bink. I've got some sports equipment. Like I used to keep it all for the family. We don't get together and play like home run. We used to get together and play like home run derby or play baseball where we could get 6 or 7 guys and we could just eliminate half the field. Now we don't do that nearly as much. So I'll keep my glove. I've got a first baseman's mitt that I'll hold on to, and I'll keep I got a new glove for Christmas like 5 years ago. Because like mine is beaten up, and I wanted a glove that was just going to like be my glove for the rest of time.
Does it have your name on it yet?
No, that's not. But it's a nice glove. It's an infielder's. It's 11.5 inch A2000.
Yeah, but the best gloves are the ones that are used. You know, you got to work the leather.
Well, I've caught. I'll play catch and stuff with it. I'll do those things. I just haven't, and I'll keep. It's my glove forever now. The last one it was starting to fall apart, and I wasn't going to restitch a glove. I wasn't going to do all that.
You played wiffle ball at your place yet?
No, that's coming up on August 5th.
No, wait, at your house?
Oh, no,
at your house.
Oh, my house?
If you hit like second level of your house at home run or whatever.
Our yard's too small. It's not a good wiffle ball field. We're going to do our Cody and Gold Garage Sale wiffle ball game coming up on August 5th, but now it's not a big enough field.
Even in my 30s, man, we used to get those the plastic helmets.
Yeah.
We'd be different teams. Me and a neighbor, we'd play wiffle ball, home run derby. At like 33, 34 years old.
My brothers played it
like you're
more
never
than
too old for
it was completely invented by my older brothers. But the game we played in our childhood backyard was with tennis balls. So we played
I wasn't a child.
Full World Series, and if they were lefty, you had to hit lefty. So like you had to hit from both sides of the plate, and the entire fence line had a different set of rules. How far was a home run, double, ground rule double? You could call for stolen bases, and then the person would have to throw back down towards would have to throw back down towards the shed, the whole thing. I mean, it had a very complex set of rules.
That's the best.
We played it with tennis balls, though. We started with baseballs, and then a couple of things broke. And
when you make the rules up, when you go, you have that wiffle ball, and you just keep putting tape on it.
Yeah, it was invented by them. They played it even more than we did, but my younger brother and I played it, and we played it with them throughout that. It was a very complex set of rules. Always something like that. Coming up in about 10 minutes, I'll get you a random question of the day. But Binkley, we've been keeping an eye on the AFC West like normal. And I had kind of asked Alex this a couple of weeks ago, trying to decide what level it matters, because Colin Cowherd was floating an idea about Brian Dable being the next Chargers coach if it doesn't go well with Brandon Staley. But you're starting to think that maybe switching offensive coordinators is enough, because right now they have Justin Herbert, and they're not good enough on offense, and a defensive-minded head coach, and they're not good enough on defense. Something's got to give at some point. If Kellen Moore can't fix their offense, then Staley's the problem.
I think Kellen Moore, remember when he was almost going to be the next thing in head coaching?
Well,
People wanted Kellen Moore. Hey,
well, that was the whole thing. It was like Dallas really didn't want to let him go.
He did things to Dallas. I mean, look, Dallas was fourth in the NFL in points scored last year, number 1 in points scored 2 years ago. You always wonder about like that Justin Herbert's about to get the contract. Joe Burrow's about to get his. And Jalen Hurts just got his. But, Mahomes and Josh Allen already have theirs. My question is, can you be good and pay your quarterback? Chiefs proved they could. Now,
this is the first time, though, in NFL history the team has done that. And the answer is typically no. I still think Mahomes is the exception, not the rule.
Well, of course he is, because Mahomes has taken up more cap space than any winning quarterback in NFL history. Takes up over 17% of the cap.
Yep.
So it's more than any quarterback win. Now, Manning was like that, but he didn't win the Super Bowl where he was.
Although the Rams
17%.
did it the year before. No, Stafford didn't take up 17% of the cap, but they were also paying Jared Goff. Like 25% of their cap was taken out.
Oh, I know.
Maybe that rule's just getting ready to change.
But Pages, Herbert, Kellen Moore, though, we'll talk about Denver tomorrow, but there's a few changes in the AFC West. Brandon Staley, I know he's a bad coach, and I know his clock management's bad. I know we're going to be flooded.
I don't think he's a good coach at all.
I don't either. And I think he's the only NFL coach to cost his team a chance at the playoffs 2 years ago. He literally cost them by going for it on 4th and 1s and those type of situations. Unless you're Philadelphia, you can do it with Jalen Hurts where you're pretty much guaranteed to get the first down. He blew that game against the Raiders, did not make the postseason. He finally makes it. He loses the first-round playoff game to Jacksonville.
Where they had a huge lead. And I would put that on just him, but Andy's blown a huge lead in the playoffs a couple of times.
But
he's still one of the greatest coaches of all time.
He was a one-year defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Okay, he knows offense. He should. He was the former quarterback at Dayton. He played offense. Like when he played college football, Brandon Staley was offense. He played quarterback. he can't get that offense to work, and they got all that talent, and they're missing their window. We talk about the Buffalo Bills window coming back. Kellen Moore, I think, adds to that team. Like, despite drafting Quentin Johnston, who's already their third receiver at this point with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, Kellen Moore was such a huge addition for that football team offensively to kind of put things together. So what's that mean?
I think he could be.
And as far as Brandon Staley's concerned, I think he did get better last year. He's still bad at clock management towards the end, but I think he coached better last year than he did the year before. So I think he got better at it, but it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be trial by numbers here. He should be good if you're at the NFL level, and he hasn't proven to be. So Kellen Moore could be that next head coach.
They've had Justin Herbert for 3 years now, right? Their offense is ranked 18th, 5th, and 12th. That is just very simply not good enough. It would be good enough maybe if your quarterback didn't have the weapons around them, right? Maybe you just didn't have all the pieces put together yet, and it was going to take a little bit of time in order to adjust to that. But look at the other top offenses in the NFL during that time. They're all better than you consistently. That got it, the Chiefs, obviously, but they're the best offense in the NFL. Fine, you don't want to put yourself up against there. Philly's ranked in the top 5 each of the last 2 years. Buffalo's ranked in the top 5 each of the last 2 years. You know who's consistently rated better than you on offense? Rated better than you on offense this year, and rated only, rated better on offense than you last year, and were bad the year before in Detroit. 2 years ago, when they had a rookie Justin Herbert absolutely chewing up the league, they scored less points per game that year than Detroit, too. So for the last 3 years, Detroit's had a better offense than you twice?
Well,
Detroit?
It's adding Kellen Moore. Again, 2 years ago, the
Does
Cowboys...
an offensive coordinator change enough for that? Because I'm wondering that about Buffalo's loss of Dable, right? Is it really...
I don't know, man. The Cowboys,
still think...
one of 2 teams in the NFL over 30 points a game. They were number 1 2 years ago. They're 4th this past year.
Yeah.
He can score. He knows how to put
things together. And you would think
together.
that Dak Prescott and Justin Herbert... And there's similar amounts of talent. I think Justin Herbert's better, too.
Wide receivers, I'd give the Chargers the advantage at this point.
But, McCarthy...
And I like what going on in Dallas with CD and that, but I like what the Chargers have.
I know
and they played Kansas City extremely close. They just can't get over the hump.
I know McCarthy's an easy punching bag, but he had top offenses in Green Bay. Are we sure he doesn't deserve more of this credit? He's an easy punching bag. I get it. But he had top 5 offenses in Green Bay, and now he has top 5 offenses here. We're just giving Kellen Moore the credit? This goes back to the EB thing. I think we might be crediting... if you were not... And this is the thing that drives me crazy about it. If you're not going to give Eric Bieniemy credit for helping this offense get to the level it was. It
depends, though. Kellen Moore was only seen more instrumental on offense than EB was with the Chiefs.
Yeah, but
because Andy Reid's just all over this offense. EB was too, but Andy Reid his fingerprints are everywhere.
It's hard because Andy Reid is one of the best offensive coaches of all time. So it's hard to separate those things. And nobody says that McCarthy is that. Nobody's ever confused him for the best offensive coach of all time. So I get the notion that is, hey, maybe this doesn't work or the fit isn't there. But I don't think that this is going to be the thing that pushes them over the top. You know what they have to get better on? Defense. At least occasionally they score some points offensively and they've got a good quarterback. Why, if you have a defensive coordinator as a head coach, have you been stinky on defense all 3 years he's been the head coach? I know, they had some injuries last year. Khalil Mack got hurt or J.C. Jackson got hurt. They have tons of resources on the defense. They have one of the best defensive players in the NFL in Joey Bosa. They have consistently had a good pass rush. I get it. They don't have a secondary or their linebackers are weak. That's your job. You're the defensive coordinator. Scheme it up.
The Chargers are,
Khalil Mack,
future Hall of Fame IR.
I
know. Going back for decades now, the Chargers have always been looking at, they're they're the best team in the AFC West. And then by week 8, half their roster's hurt.
Fouts and Rivers had that team a couple of years. They're good. Marty Schottenheimer was there, won 14 games, one time in Chargers. This is what Ryan Leaf said about Kellen Moore on NFL Network. I thought this was kind of interesting.
Well, he's involved all week long in the game planning with Kellen Moore. He has been for the last few years. He's felt that urge. He's wanted to get back into the mix. But, Kellen Moore got scapegoated a bit in Dallas last year. And don't forget, as he was being let go from Dallas, he was interviewing for head coaching jobs around the NFL, people, okay? When he landed in Los Angeles, I jumped for joy. Justin Herbert is going to have Kellen Moore now, and they cannot blame him in Dallas. This is firmly at the feet of Mike McCarthy. The defense has improved greatly under Dan Quinn. There's a reason why Dan Quinn didn't go get a head coaching job, because guess what? If this doesn't play out really well for Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn could be sliding into that spot a year from now. And that puts a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott as well. They have to perform this year. They have to vie for a championship. And we say this every single year, but yeah, they're running out of time. They just are. You look for windows. You always look for these windows. And when you don't have Joe Burrow, when the window is always open, Dak Prescott, that window's gently closing, and you have to be there to try to keep it open. And this is definitely the year, because it's Mike McCarthy's coaching for his job, essentially, by being the new play caller in Dallas.
And Kellen Moore going over there, I do think this was a big addition. And will he be a head coach in the NFL? But just concentrate on offense. Which
Like every year, it's like we say it's a big addition for the Chargers, and they still end up mediocre.
You just go concentrate on offense. Don't worry about defense. Don't worry about anything. I think Kellen Moore is the best coach on that staff. I think Kellen Moore is a better coach than Brendan Staley. I mean, how can you not be considered it?
I mean, he's had more general success.
I'm just saying, the pairing of that, again, it's addition. What can these guys do? It's like Daboll when he was with Josh Allen. It's just a nice combination of perfect mix. It's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. There's sometimes guys mesh. We'll see what Kellen Moore
They
can
might
do
just
with
be
Herbert.
They might just be stuck in the middle forever. They shouldn't be, because Justin Herbert's too good. But unless they find one of those
pay him.
star-level head coaches, I'm not sure. Yeah, they're going to have to pay him. And all of their wide receivers have been there long enough now that they're going to start getting old. Mike
Except for
Williams, Austin Eckler.
Except for Q.
Keenan Allen, who was essentially asking out this offseason, wasn't he?
But their top three is solid.
Yeah, but it's getting old.
Because they drafted one in the first round. They drafted a guy that I kind of wanted for the Chiefs, and that was
Quentin Johnson. Well, I mean, look, maybe he'll work out, but you know how
He was
rookie
a
wide
camp
receivers
head.
work. Maybe he's Jonathan Baldwin. We'll find out here soon enough.
That's a pretty
We
good
don't know
punch,
anything
though.
about
Mike
him.
Williams, Quentin, and Keenan Allen.
Yeah, of
Did
course.
you get Austin Eckler back there?
But that same offense that you just described outside of Quentin Johnson was 12th in the NFL in points per game last year. 12th. How? And I know Herbert was hurt for part of the year.
Second best catching running back in the NFL, possibly the best.
Austin
He's up
Eckler
there
had
with Christian McCaffrey.
Austin Eckler had a career year, and they were still 12th. Like, it's,
So you
and I
have-
get it. They don't have a good offensive line or any of these things that we're going to blame on this stuff. But when you're a good offensive coach, you still score points. Like, that's just the reality of it. And I feel like that's Kellen Moore's biggest issue.
You luck into points, because your playmakers are going to make plays.
Yeah.
And Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, before going into every year, we're like, man, look at that wide receiver duo. And then by week 6, one of them sprained an ankle, and all of a sudden that wide receiver core doesn't look so great.
It doesn't take long with the Chargers. They are the most snake bit team in the entire NFL, Bink. That's for sure. Let's get to the random question of the day.
Chiefs Red Half
Random
Hour
question.
every day at 11:30 on
One of those. For you, Bank. For you, Q-Tip. And over in the text line, 913-586-7610. Random question I have for you today. I was thinking about this with my kid because she's had a couple of birthday parties to go to for the summer, right? Perfectly normal kid stuff. And then somebody was asking, like, we were at a party and someone was discussing needing to buy a present for, like, a friend of theirs. And I thought, I don't think, and I'm dead, I don't think there is a single friend I still buy a gift for. So I want to know if I was alone here. So the question I have for you and for Quentin and over in the text line, 913-586-76 is, how many friends do you still purchase gifts for their birthday?
Zero.
I knew your answer
Without
was gonna be
hesitation.
0.
Like, who do you buy for?
I don't know. I feel like if I'm opening the door, if I buy for one person, I think if we go out for
You don't-
someone's
no one gives
birthday
me stuff.
specifically, maybe.
I'll give him a beer. I'll buy him a beer. It's a birthday. You give him a beer. This is kind of what we do as guys.
But like
You
a
want
present.
beer?
How
No.
you don't buy a present for a
Don't
single
do it.
friend?
Or card.
Not even really
or
good
present.
friend?
No. They can be a great friend. They can be your best man at your wedding. Weddings. You're not giving them a present. I don't really give family presents anymore.
I
do
got
my
too many
kids.
siblings,
I do
so-
my
so we
kids.
never-
Only kids. My mom, I give her something, for Mother's Day and stuff like that. But my kids. That's who gets
my
the present.
kids and
That's
my
it.
wife.
That's it. Although I have bought in Christmas presents for people at the station before.
Who?
Back with the day shift.
Like,
I would
should
give
Alex
Cal-
and I be getting each other birthday
Well,
presents?
Here's the deal.
There's no person in my life other than my wife and my kids that I spend more time with than Alex.
I would give Wachowski and Henry a flashlight every year. I like giving flashlights.
Flashlights?
No.
Every year? How many flashlights do you think I
Well,
need?
typically, I think
I have like 2, and they've been working
just
for
go to
a
any hardware
decade.
store and get a flashlight. People love flashlights. The kind you plug into your light or whatever. Very handy. or I'll go to Quick Trip and get a lottery ticket. Because I either like you this much, what would Michael Scott say? Or I could love you like this much, and your hands are all extended.
How much do you spend on the lottery ticket? $5?
I mean, I typically will buy a lot of my Christmas presents at Quick Trip.
It's
very
a good
easy.
place to buy Christmas
Well,
presents.
it's very easy.
I mean, I love Quick Trip.
Lottery tickets. I mean,
I like putting lottery tickets in stockings.
But think about the candy you can get there. You got a lot scratch offs. You want that? You want some Mega Millions?
What are you doing for like people you date, Bink? This cannot be your strategy. You can't just go to Quick Trip and get lottery tickets and candy.
I took a date to Fast and Fresh Hy-Vee one time, not too long ago. It beats Chili's.
Someone says, only my closest friends when I do that similar hobby. So whiskey or fishing gear, and then never more than like $50.
That's
they
too
say
much.
they buy
That's
less.
too much.
That's a lot. I mean,
$50.
How many? What's your friend group? 3, 4, 5 people? Someone says maybe a drink if we go out. Says I'm 35, core group of the 4 of us. We'll still buy the 3 of us gifts. But again, it's got to be those kinds of things, like a lesser bottle of alcohol or those things. Someone says they got a couple of buddies. They buy a 6-pack or a cigar. Like maybe, and I don't even do that.
My grandpa would say you need 6 friends. That's enough to carry your casket.
6 friends? That's his stance?
It's enough to carry.
You got enough people?
But I'm not buying up a present. I don't do that. I mean, your significant other, your spouse, you might buy them. Of course, you're going to buy them something. I mean, your wife,
I don't
your
think
kids.
there's any friends I buy gifts for anymore.
No, I don't buy a single gift for a friend.
No coworkers. I don't get you a present or Alex. I didn't get Nick presents before. Our very first year, we bought Serta a Christmas present. We chipped in and got him an air fryer.
It was a nice gift.
It was the last time we
You
bought
never got
it.
Nick nothing?
Nope.
No wonder he didn't like you
I
guys.
didn't even get him a goodbye present.
I'm kidding.
What, am I supposed to get him a gold watch? He didn't even make it to his 2-year
He's a world
anniversary.
traveler. He's a world traveler.
I don't know those
Who
things.
gets lucky on timing?
My presence is their present, is what I was gonna say. And other than that, like if I go out for my friend's birthday, I've got a core group of people that there's about 5 of us that we've been friends with since elementary school, and we go out for a birthday. It'll be a beer. Beer's on me. I'll buy you a beer, and there's usually a couple of us.
Yeah, if we're out and it's around your birthday,
Yeah. It'll
I'll
be
buy
like
you beers.
I'll buy him a beer, and then someone else will buy him a beer. So the guy gets 3 beers at a bar, and so he doesn't have to pay a tab for the night, and that's it. Then we go home.
Is that one of the most
I think this
overused
might be a gender
statements?
thing. I'm going to be honest. I think this might be a very different answer if we had asked some women.
Oh, 100%. They buy gifts all the time.
Because I think my
Max
wife
used to
generally
buy gifts for her friends all the time, all the time.
All the time?
Oh, someone's birthday gift, another person's present gift. I didn't.
I was trying to decide if
barely-
maybe I'm doing it wrong. Should I be buying more
I
gifts?
don't know.
for
I
people?
barely remember my friends' birthdays unless it's in the bathroom.
My
But I
problem
can
is-
read going into the bathroom whose birthday it is. That's how I know when yours is. How I know when anybody's is because it's on the bathroom when you walk in there. Cody's birthday.
And we also get emails.
I used to tell Wachowski happy birthday well in advance. Like,
But
if
he
I
takes
just
his
saw it,
birthday off.
I'd say it for the next year. Say happy birthday next year. And that way it's out of the way. First person to wish him it. Like 7 months
Well, you're
ahead of
even
time,
worse
but
than me. I'm questioning whether I should be buying more gifts for
shouldn't.
some of my closer friends.
You shouldn't.
I think if we're
Well, did
hanging
they buy
out
you
on
something?
your,
They buy you something?
Here's the
The
problem.
answer is no.
I think if we're hanging out on the day of your actual birthday, I have to at least show up with like a 6-pack or something. I can't get together with you on your birthday empty-handed. I have to come. But if it's any day outside of that day, I think I'm free and clear.
What if
we're
it's
getting together
like-
a week after your birthday? I'm off the hook.
What if it's like a Thursday? Their birthday's on a Thursday. You go out Saturday night or Friday night.
If it's known that we're
That
going
could be
out for their
costly.
birthday,
That could be costly.
I still think you got to show up with like something small, right?
It's like just buy a beer.
See, don't you hate the saying, let's go out and have a beer? There's no way in hell that somebody goes and has a beer. It's like one Dorito, right? It's beers. Let's go drink beers. How many times do you hear that expression? Let's go grab a beer. And you never do. Friends will see you, be at a reunion or something, Cody, and say, let's go grab a beer sometime. You never do. Beers. Multiple. Beer with an S. Did you and Pete just have a beer?
No, we had multiple beers.
See? Beers. But hey, let's go out for beer. No, you had beers. There's no such thing as just a beer. Let's go have a beer.
Just figuring out what my next protocol
hate that
is.
phrase.
I'm willing to change in life if I'm the jerk here, okay? And I should have been buying my friends
think you're
gifts all the
fine,
time.
Cody.
From
you,
the,
you seem to say I'm fine.
From the
Life is short,
816,
give more gifts.
With his salary, Cody should at least be buying the peasants a token gift every year. So I think people are starting to catch on. with
I
your
could start
growing, overall health or wealth.
We'll have a new producer soon. Maybe we can talk about gifts. I don't know.
Text line says life is short. Give more gifts.
Someone says they get their mail carrier a gift.
Yeah,
My father-in-law used to be a
life
mail
is short.
carrier. He said people got him gifts all the time.
Do you want to go through it, Pour?
I haven't done that. Should I be doing that? Should I be getting my mail carrier a present?
A lot of people give their if it's a set.
It's not the
mail
same
carrier,
person.
They don't. If it's a
It's
set
not the same person.
Yes.
It varies.
Set person, yes. You give your Amazon driver or something? No, because it's a different person.
Wasn't this a question like a few weeks ago where you were asking about getting some sort of like dancer teacher a gift?
Yep, I did get that.
I feel like we keep coming back to the same question. They're not so random.
I got to figure out what the gift-giving policy is in this. This actually doesn't
Your
affect
kid's
me
teacher's
directly.
different, man.
I did that. I did that. I'm
Is she
in
hot?
on that. I didn't have to. What? Why would you even ask
I think it
that?
matters.
What? My kid's teacher?
Yeah.
I don't.
In
In what way does that matter?
It's what.
For you? I'll tell you when we
One
go
time
to
my
break.
kid goes, we leave, my wife is in the car. Daddy thinks the teacher's hot. Daddy thinks.
Oh,
I didn't
my
say
God.
anything. She said it.
Just getting
I'm like,
yourself in trouble.
whoa.
Getting yourself in trouble. When we come back.
By who?
The best rivalry in the NFL continues. The Chiefs and Bengals are at it again.
Cody and Gold on 610 Sports Radio. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
If you're looking for fun on the water, I've been telling you about my friends over at Midwest Marine Boat Company. They have everything you need for summer fun on the water. And it's not just the boats. No, it's also the experience on the boat. Making sure you got those ice-cold beverages that are going to stay ice-cold. Did I tell you that Midwest Marine Boat Company has Yeti products? If you've never enjoyed your favorite cold summer beverage in a Yeti tumbler, then you've really never enjoyed summer. They got Yeti tumblers, coolers, you name it, at their brand new indoor showroom, Midwest Marine Boat Company in Grandview.
Is your old garage door a real clunker? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards a new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old opener and entry door too. It's cash for clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate at overheaddoorkc.com or call 816-221-0072.
It's never too late to change careers, and you can do that right now over at Centric.com/610. You've always been interested in technology, so why not start looking at classes that start at the end of July? You can sign up now and start looking for those career growth opportunities with better benefits, more flexible schedules, and put that GI Bill or other funding to use so you can finally be in a career you're proud of. Go to Centric.com/610 and see my guy Russ Mondry and find out what they can do for you.
My friends at Window World asked me to tell you about a very special auction benefiting Action for Autism. Action for Autism is a Missouri organization that provides therapy and learning for kids ages 2 to 21 to help them prepare for a successful future. You can bid on a whole home renovation worth $40,000. To place your bid, go to the Kansas City Chiefs website or windowskc.com. The bidding starts at $15,000. The auction will close on July 27th, and it's so easy to register. The renovation package includes windows, exterior wrapped, insulated siding, gutters, doors, and much more. Every penny of the proceeds go to Action for Autism. You can make a donation. If you choose not to submit a bid, all you need to do is go to windowskc.com for all the details. 1 out of 68 children born today are diagnosed with autism, and you can make a difference in these kids' lives by making a bid or a donation at windowskc.com today.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
Ground-shaking forces will rumble the Menards NHRA Nationals, presented by Pet Armor, August 11th through 13th. Get your tickets today at NHRA.com for the Menards NHRA Nationals, presented by Pet Armor, August 11th through 13th.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to forhims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
You're listening to 610 Sports Radio from the Max Motors Studios. Tune in at 2:30 to hear Mystery Royals Week on The Drive, starting Tuesday, July 11th, on your home for Royals baseball. 610 Sports Radio, KCSP Kansas City, WDAF HD2 Liberty, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Did you request this, Bink?
I did not. This is Quentin thinking outside the box. This is good stuff right here, what he's doing. See what he's doing? He's playing along with the theme.
Leaning into it.
I said you're hot for the teacher.
No,
you know you are.
said you were. I didn't say that at all.
Man. I'm not gonna lie. You hot for the teacher?
No.
Open house, you're like, whoa, that's a looker.
No, I don't.
Oh, you concealed your
It's
feelings.
your kid's school.
Well, so what? You can be a hot teacher. You never sat at the steering wheel. Your wife looks at you and says, "Stop thinking her, damn it."
No, but this might explain the I'm 0 times divorce and you're twice. Some of this might be checking out now, Bink. I don't want to say for sure, but.
So you've never been hot for the teacher?
No.
Really? Open house? You're not sitting there going,
No. Again, my kid's only in first grade. How many open houses do you think I've been to? 2?
You don't think teachers can be hot teaching whatever
That's not what I
grade?
said. I just said I don't think about it, I guess.
Oh, come on, man.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Hot for the teacher.
Sorry to
I
disappoint
used to
you.
love open house.
The best time. You can go walk through the whole school, you know?
Hey, is your teacher single?
Mine? No. My daughter's teacher, you mean? The one she had for first grade? No, she's not single. She's taken. Both her teachers so far have been married.
Really?
Yes. Correct.
It doesn't matter anymore.
I don't think it matters. I don't know who her second grade teacher is going to be yet. They don't tell you that until like way close to school now. I assume that the reasoning behind that is because I remember we used to walk up to the school and they would post it. Be a big dot matrix printer paper up there with which kids and which class you're in. I'm assuming the reason why they don't tell you early who your teacher is going to be, even though they probably already know who my daughter's teacher is going to be, is because they don't want parents calling up there and trying to get it switched. Think about how many calls you're going to get, like, oh, I want this person in that class and this and that. The closer you put it to school, the less likely you are to get anybody to complain about it.
Yeah, parents are a problem.
Across the board. Youth sports, teaching.
Oh, youth sports is the worst. I don't know why the coaches even do it anymore sometimes. What they deal with these parents.
I very briefly was like, hey, are you interested in coaching the kids' soccer team? Because our coach was leaving. I was like, absolutely not. Not even a little. And I like this group of parents. They all seem very tame and reasonable. And the answer is no. I will not do this, and you can't make me.
I knew one kid, one coach that I think he's got 5 state titles under his belt, and he said he has a policy. I will talk to your kid. I will not talk to you, the parents.
Like at all?
I'm tired of this. I will talk to them. I'm not going to talk to you because everybody wants more playing time and whatever, how it goes. They live vicariously through their kids.
So the kid is allowed to say they want more
Absolutely.
playing time, just not the parent.
You don't want the parents coming in, living vicariously through their kid.
No, under no.
They were has been, never was, and think they are, and think little Johnny.
Did you ever coach any of your kids' teams?
What's that?
Did you ever coach any of your kids' teams?
I did.
Which one?
It was this is going to – I coach soccer.
Okay.
And I know nothing about it.
It doesn't matter. Youth soccer. You don't have to know a bunch
I went to the – honestly, I went to Barnes & Noble, and I got a Coaching Soccer for Dummies book.
There you go. See?
It was kindergarten and first grade. And I just told the parents, I said, here's the deal. They're all going to play equally. You want them in an elite team, just, this is not the age for it. These kids rather chase grasshoppers during practice.
How old was it? How old were they?
Kindergartners, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's like these kids would rather like pick grass and chase grasshoppers, but everybody's going to play the same. I don't care what the score is. They're going to do it. And you think your kid should play in an elite league, that's fine. Just go ahead and do it. There's the door. Don't let it hit in the ass on the way out.
So you're like pre-threatening these parents.
They're just telling them the way it is. They're all going to play equally. You want your kid playing elite because you never were and you think that they should be, then go.
I think my kid would have to ask me to do it. They'd have to say, will you please coach
But
my
they didn't
team?
have a choice. I mean, I had to do it.
I guess.
And some people think when you do sports, sports, all of them. It's not true.
No, it just seems like a lot of pressure. Like I've seen the way parents, like I very briefly did some baseball umpiring.
That's bad.
15 years ago, and it wasn't pleasant.
No.
There's no way it's gotten better. It can only have gotten worse.
When my kid played high school sports, I would sometimes go sit on the opposite stands or like the far end away because I didn't want to hear the parents yell for my own team. Like I did not want to hear them.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm not looking.
They're obnoxious.
We'll see as youth sports continue where that heads.
It gets worse.
My kids are young enough now that it's still probably not an issue.
It gets bad to a point where you come home going, this sucks.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Little over a week from now, Chiefs training camp will be underway. Of course, our Chiefs conversations are driven by Max Motors, as they'll take care of us the entirety of training camp over there at Max Motors, which, of course, means training camp means the beginning of the season, which means rivalries. And there is no better one in all the league right now than Chiefs Bengals. But what I can't figure out in all of this is why Cincinnati keeps playing victim. You're not the victim. You have done a majority of the trash talking in this relationship, calling people tuna in a can and trying to dance on the Chiefs' grave after you beat them in an AFC title game and a couple of regular season games with 0 Super Bowl titles. And in a most recent interview, is it a one-off comment? Should I make a big deal about it? Yeah, I think I will. Because Joe Burrow, in an interview with Complex about this rivalry and the trash talk between the two teams,
by the way,
said,
Complex.
Yeah, the best thing about it is that it's all settled on the field. We'll see them in December. By the way, that's not even the game that matters. I don't care about seeing you in December. Buffalo's beating Kansas City, Buffalo's beating Kansas City a couple times in September, December. It doesn't mean anything.
They don't even care about those.
Mr. January, which I still will argue is an insult. You don't want to be Mr. January in the NFL. The game, the important one that matters, that's in February. He wasn't Mr. September. Nobody wants to be that in baseball. You're going to be Mr. October. You're going to be there when the playoff stuff hit. What I don't like, the rivalry is great because they hate each other. I think they actually do hate each other for a little bit. But I feel like Burrow and Mahomes are going to have to try to stay out of it. But it's impossible because Mahomes doesn't know how. When he says Pat who, that's who, I loved it. So how can I blame Burrow for getting in the middle of it too?
Which is weird because it's total paradigm shift from where it was last time, saying Mahomes is the best quarterback. Josh Allen said the same thing because they got to beat him first. And they know that. But they do value regular season wins. But this was unbearable for them. Seeing the Chiefs go on, win the Super Bowl, have a parade, host the draft, be able to bring Lombardi out during the draft, and that was their own medicine. That's what they get. And it's what makes this whole rivalry fun. It wouldn't be as fun if they didn't talk junk, but because they do.
No, if they just talked about how they respect each other.
Yeah, like Buffalo is with the Chiefs. I mean, there's really not a lot of.
I think it's because they feel like the little brother. That's why
Buffalo
they
really
talk
does.
less. Buffalo is the little brother, but I think they feel that way. It's a problem for them because they feel like little brother now. They were feeling pretty like chest puffed out for a little bit when they got a couple of regular season game wins. And the way they've gotten beaten down in the postseason the last couple of years, not accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, not gotten to the ultimate prize, I think they're feeling a lot different now.
The one thing I always say to Buffalo when they bring up 13 seconds, I was like, that game should have never been an Arrowhead. You guys blew it because you left Arrowhead after winning a game. They go to Tennessee, losing primetime. Remember that? Then later on, they lose to the Jags 9-6.
Yeah.
Then they had the Colts score 41 on them.
Yeah.
In Buffalo. 13 seconds probably wouldn't have happened because the game should have been in Buffalo, but they didn't take care of business. Why? Because they can't handle being at the top. Like they can't wear that like the Chiefs. Remember Herm Edwards said, well, everybody's going to be gunning for him or whatever. Well, that's the way it's been for years. Everybody's gunning for the Chiefs. Some teams can handle it. Some teams can't. Buffalo did not handle being the Super Bowl favorite last year. At all. They didn't handle being the, quote, best team in the AFC when they beat the Chiefs in the regular season.
Well, they know now, like, the clock is on their ass. And they know it, Bink. Josh Allen's numbers getting ready to absolutely
New stadium's coming. They broke ground on it.
Diggs is getting upset. So now one of your star players is on the fence. Elite defenses never last in the NFL. So you've had a top 5 defense for 3 consecutive years. That won't last. Elite defenses don't last. They always peter out.
And what's he going to do with the
than elite
top
offenses.
20 defense instead of top 3?
Nothing. I've always made the argument. That's been the biggest downside for Josh Allen that I would say knock from him from where do you rank him amongst the elite quarterbacks is. I'll tell you right now, if Patrick Mahomes had the 3rd ranked defense each of the last 3 years, he'd be 3 for 3 with rings. You don't have one?
Yeah,
They've had the number 1 ranked
every time.
defense twice and still can't. Still can't. They've had a top 3 ranked defense go to the top 3 ranked offense 2 of the last 3 years and still can't win it all. What more do you need going in your favor? Something about that team is broken, and that's why we don't take them nearly. I mean, that's why we don't take them nearly as seriously as we do Cincinnati. But Cincinnati and the Chiefs, they also talk so much against each other. It never ends.
They make it fun. And Buffalo's got no one to blame but themselves. I mean, think about it. The Chiefs wouldn't be where they were without Mahomes.
No.
And Buffalo gave them that pick. The team that tried to chase them gave them Mahomes. Yes, they ended up getting Josh Allen a year later, and things are great because they love old Josh.
But they trade their quarterback straight up for our quarterback right now.
And
Every
they see
team in the league
Mahomes hold up the trophies. They gave the Chiefs Mahomes. Thank you, Buffalo.
They took a Ross with that pick, didn't they? Didn't they take John Ross with that pick?
No. Buffalo wouldn't Tre'Davious White picked at 27?
Oh, the pick after, I guess, is the one I was.
No.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson went right. No, he went 2 picks later, did he?
Yeah, I was just trying to remember.
No, John Ross went before Mahomes.
Oh, that's what it was.
The Bengals.
The Bengals took him. I'm getting the teams mixed up.
Yeah, the Bengals took.
The Bengals took. So the Bengals, in their own way, gave the Chiefs. It's so funny to me.
Because John Ross, it was Christian McCaffrey, John Ross, then Mahomes.
Both Cincinnati
then
and
Lattimore,
Buffalo
then Watson.
could have Patrick Mahomes. And both have great quarterbacks in their own right. But would both trade places with you immediately because you can have a great quarterback all you want, and you can lie to yourself if you want, if you're sitting in Cincinnati, if you're a fan of the Bengals, if you're in the front office, you want to lie to yourself. But if somebody right now offered you straight up your quarterback for theirs, there's not a single team in the league who wouldn't take Mahomes. They would all, if truth serum were there, take Mahomes. They wouldn't take Joe Burrow. And it's not that Joe Burrow's not great. Most teams would take Joe Burrow instead of their quarterback, but you'd take Mahomes. So 2 of your biggest competitors had and could have taken Patrick Mahomes. And by the way, we're at a moment when they should have been desperate for that. Buffalo's quarterback situation wasn't just like gangbusters when they were picking at 10. They just decided to roll the dice. Cincinnati was starting, I think, Andy Dalton or whatever still. Like in his 30s when they decided to move on with that and instead take a wide receiver. So many of those teams, because that was the same year that, like, you go back in that draft and everybody would obviously, as we've talked about.
Andy Dalton went 7-9 in 2017.
You're sitting on Andy Dalton. You could have had, and look,
and A.J. McCarron.
taking Mitch Trubisky wasn't the choice, but every single team who picked ahead of Kansas City that year should have been looking at quarterback, but wasn't willing to move off of their guy. So it was Cleveland had Baker Mayfield. They shouldn't have been feeling good about their situation at all. Then Chicago was feeling bad about their quarterback situation, chose the wrong guy. San Francisco was still starting Jimmy G. They should have been ejecting the hell out of that situation. Jacksonville was starting Blake Bortles. They should have been seeing themselves out the door then. Tennessee I'm not even sure they had Ryan Tannehill yet in 2017, so they definitely should have been looking at quarterback. The Chargers had an aging, decrepit Phillip Rivers. They should have been considering it. I mean, it's just like every single team had a legitimate reason to be looking at quarterback. And instead, they all just passed on him and let the Chiefs get Patrick Mahomes. A truly great moment.
Marcus Mariota led the Titans in passing.
Okay.
It was Mariota, Castle, and Decker at the wide receiver that went in through some passes.
Was that when you were giving up on Mariota as a quarterback, or is that when we still thought he was maybe kind of good?
Did he make the postseason?
That's the Blake Bortles argument.
He made the play. He won. That was the year the Titans beat the Chiefs.
Oh, when he caught the pass off himself?
22-21.
I don't miss those days.
And then lost the Patriots the next.
Oh, man.
That was Mr. Netflix, Mariota.
Yeah.
Those are some sad days.
That series comes out tomorrow.
I know.
Did either of you guys watch the first 4 minutes of that trailer?
I did. I watched the trailer yesterday.
Damn it, was it good?
It was pretty good.
I thought it was.
I think it shows a good equal amount of all three quarterbacks.
Which we don't need.
And Patrick Mahomes is definitely featured the most on there, but of course he should be. So it'll be interesting. It seems like they have a ton of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So it's not just going to be like a hype video. I think it's going to be... To me, obviously, I want to watch it for Patrick Mahomes. But some of these other quarterbacks who, have had way more ups and downs, I think it'll also be interesting from their perspective.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, Mahomes had editing power in this because his production company is part of this. Manning's production company. Did you see where Mahomes had asked Manning to ask Coach Reed about the access and whatnot?
Yeah. Of course he did.
Yeah, so he's like, even though his production company's part of it, I thought that was pretty respectful.
You have to, man. He knows. He knows with Andy that he didn't want to. He said he was scared about asking Andy. He also said he had to edit himself a little bit. Also, when it is your production company, guess what you can do? Be more careful, right? You can just be more careful about which version of yourself you want to show. Speaking of which, the NFL keeps putting out these list bank. So we've seen these top 10 lists. I think we're going to get to the one at corner tomorrow. But right now, AFC executives have been getting polled for where they are. And it's getting mixed reviews over on ESPN, but Chris Jones' name came up. Now, he's the second ranked defensive end on their list, only second to Aaron Donald. Seems reasonable still to this point, even though Aaron Donald didn't play as well as Chris Jones last year.
I'd flip-flop him at this point just for this year.
But Aaron Donald's earned his place on that list appropriately. But there is one part of this that I just genuinely cannot understand that they keep getting hung up on. One AFC exec who rated him a lot lower, otherwise he could have been one. One of the matchups, he's a natural answer for everything. Okay, great. Wrecked our games. Yeah, makes sense. And then here's one exec saying, quote, I think a lot of his production is inflated, and he's not always consistent against the run. We got to stop. We got to stop caring. First, Chris Jones is good against the run. Just that's just not accurate. He's not the best run stopper ever, but he's good against the run. But also, it doesn't matter. He's a pass rusher, Bank. Have you ever heard anyone talk about whether or not TJ Watt is good against the run? We don't care. We care about sacks and how often they get to the quarterback. That's Chris Jones,
play
right?
multiple positions. And do executives watch a lot of film? No.
I don't know.
Not really. Right? Unless somebody's going to be an upcoming free agent, they have interest. There's not a lot there. And no name is behind it, which I know they're not going to put their name out in something like this, but you wonder why. Sounds like spilt milk to me. Upset about it. Vendetta.
Which GM do you think this is? You think this is another AFC team?
Oh, yeah, 100% it is. Yeah, that's the Eagles still crying.
Oh, of course, man. They're never
Howie
gonna stop.
Roseman still crying.
Well, they're still complaining about the field. Like, I'll never understand that complaint. They do know, right, that the Chiefs had the second highest sack total for a pass rush, and their quarterback is just generally less mobile than Jalen Hurts and was also hurt.
And the Chiefs played on that field. Yeah. They both played there in the regular season.
I'll never understand it. I just won't. It never makes any sense to me. It will never make any sense to me because I don't understand. Largely because some of their own complaints, like let's just say we rolled in addition to this, the complaint that was, the complaint that is, oh, we shouldn't have gotten called for that penalty. I'm like, your guy admitted it. It's not the case. I think I don't know if it's sour grapes, but it feels like nitpicking to me, Bink. Do you genuinely care? Like, do you care if, like, Chris Jones is an average pass rush or an average run stopper?
You know, he can change the game if he wants to.
And how, in what way are his numbers inflated? It's not like he has consistently put up numbers and he's not consistently been, at any point, he has not consistently been with one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. For the first time that this was the second-ranked sack team. He was the leader of that charge with 15.5.
And I think this is going to be a top 10 defense this year. Top 5 scoring defense. Will be a top 5 sack defense.
Yeah, being top 5 defense this year?
Top 10 defense finally from Holmes. They were close last year, 11th in yards.
What gives you that kind of confidence?
Well, they were 12th in total defense last year, 11th in yards per game. Do I think they can get to 10? Absolutely. You get more experience. You get the secondary, played a lot of rookies. Now it's your second year. Big turnaround, big difference playing your second year. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs can be a top 10 defense. I think this is the first year Mahomes plays with a top 10 defense.
Well, then they're going to win the Super Bowl, aren't they? I mean, if you really think the Chiefs end up with the 5th best defense, how could we not think they're going to win the Super Bowl?
Well, of course.
You and I both think they're getting DeAndre Hopkins. They got a top 5 defense.
They play close games, but they won close games. That's a big difference between winning close games and losing them. They won them.
Yeah, and they know how to do that.
And listen, weeks 12 through 17 is going to be tough because they're going to have less rest against every opponent they're playing, including 2 games against the Raiders within that span, the Bills and Bengals all within that span.
Like, I don't worry about their ability to win those close games or those things that we're talking about or any of the things that come with it. Obviously, I understand where they are and why we should be comfortable with that. But it's like, I mean, if they end up with that kind of defense, Bink, I'm going to think that they're here. And I don't understand why we can't view Chris Jones like we view other edge rushers. I understand he plays in the interior. So for some reason, if you play in the interior, you both have to be, if you're going to be a good interior defensive lineman, you can't all be Aaron Donald. Like his run, Aaron Donald's elite run, is one of the best interior defensive lineman elite runs ever. Chris Jones has not been that yet, but he is the second most during that entire run dominant interior guy. He can't both be the big 400-pound run-stuffing defensive tackle and get you 15.5 sacks. You're describing a unicorn. Like, I think if you're an NFL exec and you're complaining about the run stopping, you're saying he could be a little bit better at it, then you're describing a unicorn, a player that doesn't exist.
100%, but I'm curious where he ends up in the NFL top 100. When the players get to make the choice on where he belongs, which I think is a big difference. When the guys that are playing against you, other guys in the league, the respect that you get from those players, I think that makes a big difference, the NFL top 100. Forget about what the executives are saying. What are the players saying? The ones that have to face him.
So you're going to care more about that? But they've been wrong on that, too, man. They've had Mahomes ranked like fifth. What was that? How low was he a couple of years ago after that Super Bowl loss? Like 5th or something?
Yeah, he'll be 1 this year.
Well, yeah. I mean, he should be 1 every year,
but
right?
The bottom line is ask quarterbacks. They care where Jones lines up. First thing they check. Is he inside? Is he outside?
Do you think he'll be a top 10 player in the NFL 100?
Chris Jones?
Chris Jones? He's coming off his best year.
No less than 15.
No less than 15? What do you think Creed Humphrey will be? When's that come out? Next week?
I think he'll be probably a top 20 player at this time. And he'll keep growing. He'll be eventually top 10. Don't you?
Yeah.
He's considered the best center. I know Jason Kelce and he are 1-2 as far as AP.
I think he'll be top 30.
I think he's passing him.
Yeah, I think he'll be top 30.
How many players will be in the top 25? How many Chiefs players?
Mahomes, Kelce.
Let's say Creed. For
Jones, Creed.
That's it.
Tooney will be just barely on the outside of it.
4 in the top 25 is pretty good. I don't think you need to be like, boy, I sure wish they had more of the top 25 players in the entire NFL. They're helped by the Super Bowl year, though. We know that. Like, they're just going to be buoyed by that across the board, and that's just something we know at this point because that's the way these lists typically work, Bink. But yeah, it just feels like the way they handle this thing more often than not just doesn't make sense. When we come back, there are a couple of players I want to ask you about, Bink. Which one's going to be better than the other? We'll do that next here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
He's so good, and everyone knows it.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. For asphalt, concrete, and parking lot maintenance, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot. Trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANNasphalt.com.
It's too hot to cook. Make it easy with Old Shawnee Pizza and their Tuesday special. Any single topping pizza is just $12.99. That's right, only $12.99. Call or go to OldShawneePizza.com to order. Old Shawnee Pizza. 2 locations, Shawnee and Lenexa.
Over $1,000 a month. That's how much Cap One Lending customers are saving on average with the interest reduction loan. Access up to 100% of your home's equity to pay off high interest debt, make home improvements, or take that much needed cash out. Call Cap One Lending and enjoy no payments until fall. 816-905-1111. That's 905-1111. Or apply at CapOneLending.com. Stop wasting your hard-earned money on high-interest debt. With one simple phone call, you can start saving thousands every month. Enjoy no out-of-pocket closing costs and no payments until fall. Call now, 816-905-1111. That's 905-1111. Or apply at CapOneLending.com.
Cap One Lending, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
Cap One Lending, a Kansas licensed mortgage company, license number MC0026341, NMLS and Missouri license 2468614. Programs and rates subject to change without notice.
When you get your home internet from Big Cable, you'll go through the 5 stages of grief over your bill. There's denial.
Okay, so my introductory rate is over, but surely they won't raise the price.
Anger.
They raised it.
Even bargaining.
Maybe if I complain, they'll give me a discount.
And sure, you could stick around for depression and acceptance to kick in. Or you can switch to T-Mobile. With T-Mobile 5G home internet, you can say goodbye to the grief of exploding bills. Because with our price lock guarantee, we won't raise your rate for internet ever. And it's just $50 a month with auto pay and eligible payment method. Plus, setup only takes 15 minutes. Get T-Mobile 5G home internet for just $50 a month. Check availability at T-Mobile.com/5G internet.
Price lock exclusions like taxes and fees apply. Qualifying credit required. Regulatory fees included in $50 price for qualified accounts, plus $5 per month without autopay. Debit or bank account required.
Hey, this is Rex with KC Real Estate Buyers, and I buy houses for cash. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, grab a pencil. I'm going to give you a very important phone number in 40 seconds. I'm a private real estate investor. I live right here in KC, and I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at KC Real Estate Buyers, we are improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind-in-payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to rexbuyskc.com. That's rexbuyskc.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Imagine buying a pair of sneakers and getting a soothing, gentle foot massage like you'd get during a relaxing pedicure just by walking. You might think this sounds too good to be true, but we think it sounds like Skechers' new Massage Fit sneakers. Because Skechers, the comfort technology company, has designed a unique innovation that makes it feel like you're pampering your feet with a gentle massage in every step. The secret is Skechers' new patented wave technology on the sole that gently massages your feet while you're walking around. It feels amazing and is so gentle you can wear them all day just like your other favorite Skechers sneakers. And not only will you be getting the massage, you'll also be getting Skechers' other famous comfort features, like a special luxury insole that offers extra support for 24/7 comfort. Plus, they come in a variety of fashionable styles, including lace-up and slip-ons, and they're machine washable for easy care. Get a bonus massage in every step with Skechers' new Massage Fit. Find them for men and women at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, get up to 40% off select bathroom faucets and vanities. Plus, buy Southwire Romex Simple 12-gauge indoor wire at our everyday low price of $109. Head to your local Lowe's or visit us at Lowes.com for more deals you can't beat. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Valid 7/6 through 7/12 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. U.S. only.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase,
it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The 610 Sports Radio phone line is brought to you by Onder Law Injury Lawyers. Visit getjim.com. What's trending?
All right, let's check in on the hot topics trending.
First up on What's Trending, Vlad Guerrero Jr., winner of the Home Run Derby last night. At the All-Star game tonight, obviously Salvador Perez, the Royals' lone All-Star. Binkley, will he come up big? You know he's a clutch player. Will he come up big in the game tonight?
Yeah, you get Witt in the game, too, with the Blue Jays, Sal Perez. And I don't know. I actually like the All-Star game. I know there's no meaning behind
Brent Rooker,
it.
there's another former Royal.
Yeah? I actually
yeah.
enjoy the All-Star game, which is weird because there's nothing on it. I did like when something was on it, home field advantage. I was one of those people that did like that. Why not? Major League Baseball bends the rules on everything else. Why not that too? But I actually do like I think this whole week's been fun for Major League Baseball. It's kind of showcased the sport, but I enjoyed the Home Run Derby. Hell, I enjoyed the draft, and I'll enjoy the All-Star game tonight. What else are you going to watch?
I mean, I don't know, Netflix or something. I don't know.
That's what you watch tomorrow night.
You know, maybe Netflix. I'll figure it out. One way or the other, Bink. I'll figure out something to watch. Don't you worry about me. But at least at the All-Star game, it'll give us something. You know the break.
You're going to watch the All-Star
So
game,
far,
Code
what
Man.
we've got was Kadarius Toney's Twitter activity
hacked.
and Chiefsaholic captured. Those have been our All-Star Week stories so far. So
Big 12 Media
not
Days
bad. Just
tomorrow.
need one more tomorrow, and we'll be all set.
Big 12 Media Days tomorrow. They're finally doing it during an All-Star break. And they did last year, too. But they used to not. In the SEC, used to do Media Days during All-Star Week, which is smart to do it because you're the big story. Because there's no sports going on.
But is Big 12 Media Day ever the big story?
Huh?
I said, is Big 12 Media Day ever the big
This
story?
year it is with the new teams, Code Man.
You think so, huh? Okay. With the new teams, at least that. I'll give you that, Bink.
Yeah, I think
I'll
it's
give
going to
you
be
that.
interesting.
Yeah, I'll give you that. What's next on What's Trending?
You know, I once hung out with Alex Gold at a Big 12 Media Days. We
Oh,
went
yeah?
to Barry Switzer's party.
You guys went to Barry Switzer's party?
It was a Fox deal. It wasn't really his party. It was just a television rights deal for free food. So Alex, it's back when Alex was at a different station. Tyson Fury to fight again, October 28th. Are you ready for it? I am a sucker for heavyweight fights. Francis Ngannou, a done deal. It was announced this morning, according to Ariel Helwani. It's a boxing match, October 28th in Saudi Arabia. More details to come, he says, but it's all signed, sealed, and completed. I still do like a good heavyweight fight.
So you'll go watch a big... I'll watch... It's got to be a really big fight. But if it's like one of the ones everyone's talking about, yeah, I tend to catch it. But the ones in between, I don't catch as much, at least on that end. I'm not saying no to him, Bink, but yeah, I don't catch him as much as those two. Tyson Fury, I think I've watched one of his most recent fights, so maybe I'll catch this next one. Next up on What's Trending, according to Jeff Darlington over at ESPN.com, he's saying the Chiefs are optimistic Chris Jones' deal will get done before training camp. Bink, are you optimistic?
100%. I think it's easily done by first practice 23rd. It'll be done by then because they don't want any distractions going forward. Done deal. He gets his deal signed. Maybe they bring in DeAndre Hopkins now that they have the money. You get everything done by the time the 23rd rolls around for training camp. This team does not like distractions whatsoever. That's why Kadarius out here saying he was hacked.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here again.
You try to alleviate
I want to talk about that
distractions.
one more time before
But you
the
get
show's
these
over
things
today.
all out of the way, and then it's go time in St. Joe starting next week.
We're close, man.
Next week?
You must be excited.
They
You've been
need-
watching
they
like
need-
pickup
they need-
football.
They need to do midnight
This would be the
madness.
worst day
Midnight
to do
madness.
football practice right now. It's gonna be like it's like the heat index like 110 today.
Well, they do it in the morning, though. They practice in the morning.
I have to go play on the Sporting KC media game tomorrow night. It's gonna be hot as hell.
Oh, you have to. Yeah, like
scored
it's
a
such
goal
a
yet?
drag on your time to go
No.
hang out with everybody.
No, I played so I've played in it 3 times now. I'm 2-1 as a record.
Good.
I played defense really the first couple of times. This time I played midfield. I had a shot on goal. I screwed it up.
What's Gold play?
I screwed it. He
Offense or
plays
defense?
defense.
All right.
He's not. He's too afraid to get in the action.
You guys on the same team?
We're on the same team this time. This time.
Did Nick play with you once?
This time. Nick and I were on a team for the KC Current media game. Another one I assume I like participating in those random things. It's fun to go stand out on the Sporting KC field. Although I think there's rain and heat. These are not good combinations. Although, maybe an advantage.
Have you seen the Currents practice facility down there in Riverside?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. That's where they held their first media game last year. It was held at that facility.
Really?
Yeah, super cool.
It's very cool.
Very, very, very cool.
Northwestern fired Pat Fitzgerald. Interesting day yesterday around Northwestern. You got the story that came out from a student newspaper. Told Quentin he once worked for his own student newspaper at his college. That sometimes big things happen. He was suspended 2 weeks. They backtracked on that and ended up going a different direction, which puts them in a challenge now because eventually you're probably going to want a new coaching staff as well. But you're probably not going to get it all this year.
Yeah, I would think so. There's just nothing to be done. That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Bink, what do you think about this Kadarius Toney thing? So I think if you in any way try to conflate this to, it's going to mean that Kadarius Toney doesn't perform for this team. That's insane. That's an insane way to look at this. But he was not hacked, Bink. Why would you believe when he said I was hacked? I think he's joking.
Says he was.
I think he's joking.
What if you were hacked and you're like, no one believes you, Cody? What if no one believes you but me?
If I really got hacked?
What if we're the only two that believe you?
If I really got hacked, people didn't even. I'd live.
What if
because nobody believed me and I didn't steal a suitcase.
What if you went on a firestorm towards Rob or somebody else and you're like, hey, I was hacked, man? Well, you would want us to believe you. You wanted the people to believe you didn't steal that suitcase.
But I didn't.
I know you didn't, but you wanted people to believe all along when they did think you did it.
Yes, I would like people to believe that I'm not making things up, but I think he's making it up. I don't have to just believe people blindly just because they say something.
I would have used AI. I would have used AI.
He is on recorded audio. It is so obvious. His voice.
AI can
By
do
the way,
that.
someone's like, hey, just play the audio of it. I can't. I mean, Quentin would have to had taken the entire show off today just to. There's just a lot of language.
With the amount of language in there, I'd have to come up with like different versions of the beeps to at that point I would just sound like a really bad rapper.
You just wouldn't enjoy it.
It could be AI though, because they did tell you they can't take your voice.
But do you think that's what happened?
That's what I would have played if I'm him. I would have said that.
Just so someone got AI.
They can't
just
do that.
to make him
Go
seem
watch
like
these specials on it, Cody. It's a serious deal.
Who would do this? A Chiefs fan wouldn't do it.
Giants. They're bored.
But in his audio, he's saying Daniel Jones sucks and misses him more than
Maybe he's a
him.
bored Eagles
He didn't
fan.
say sucks, but
not liking their rival, the Giants. I don't know.
Binkley, it doesn't make any sense that he'd be hacked.
He says he was.
He's lying or joking.
I would have used AI.
You would have used AI to what? Get Kadarius Toney in trouble?
That's because they got my voice because of AI.
Okay, so you're just going to claim you've never said anything on the air. So if you say something bad, you're just going to claim now going forward that this is AI.
Watch 60 Minutes.
Okay. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Bad takes? Hacked.
Bad takes hacked?
Vern's double play on Sundays that I go on, but we have bad bets or whatever. I never said that. They've all won.
Someone says their kid's their 5-year-old has a double header tonight in this heat. Dude, water, lots of it. Convince a kid to drink a pile of Gatorade. That's the thing. I don't remember anybody ever. I don't remember anybody ever making us not play a sport because it was too hot as a kid.
No, but they do things for high school football, I think, now. It's mandatory water breaks. And
that's probably
don't even
good,
stop games for water breaks. You know what, Quentin? We didn't take water breaks. Our water was a pipe on a fence. And you know what? We liked it. Cody remembers those days.
Mine wasn't a fence, but it was a hose that ran through a PVC pipe.
That's right.
That had holes drilled in it.
And you loved it.
I mean, that's because when you're in, football camp.
That's right.
And it's 98 degrees outside with heat index of 106. I'm going to drink whatever water is put in front of me.
And those days you didn't have to worry about being hacked.
He did.
Because there wasn't social media.
He didn't get hacked. He just didn't get hacked, Bink. It's very simple.
I'm playing. He was hacked. We don't know him that long.
Okay. Well, if by some chance we get Kadarius Toney,
are you going to ask him if he's hacked?
I'll ask him if he was actually hacked.
Why don't you ask him up in St. Joe over a snow cone?
Yeah. Well, you know that Bink or Dusty was still blaming me the other day for the time Chris Jones got mad at him for not getting a snow cone. I was like, that's the deal, man. If you're up in St. Joe, you got to get the man a snow
Which,
cone.
by the way, I still remember 2 years ago when those weekend camp shows, guess who would come by for a snow cone after practice?
Yeah.
Chris Jones.
Every time.
And I almost got him ordered like steak and shrimp or something, so you guys had to carry that tradition on.
What? I got to get steak
you're there
and
every day.
shrimp?
Because you're there every day. Why not?
I'm going to bring that up
you work
every
a
day.
deal out with the snow cone people. You know if they're coming back? Because if you don't have snow cones, you're screwed.
I'll be honest.
Like if there is not a snow cone there, you may have to go Dippin' Dots, something like that, but you're going to be screwed.
I assume they'll be back. We have now been, this will be our 4th training camp. Is this show?
It's 3rd year doing snow cones, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. 3rd year doing snow cones.
And he's played extremely well with the snow cones.
So my guess is, well, yeah. I mean, he's had some of the best years of his career. They've won 2 Super Bowls.
Defensively hit.
One Super Bowl.
Well, dude, still Super Bowl champions. He's probably going to get extended here. May have to get D-Hop a snow cone.
You think I got to get DeAndre Hopkins a snow cone?
Well, don't more people want them? Because then Jones tell them about them, so
Sure.
you have to get more.
At this point, Binkley, are you like you mentioned DeAndre Hopkins. So before I ask you about another player, you're with me? You're 100% convinced DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a member of the Chiefs?
I'm not saying like at 100, but I'm in the 90s. I think it is very plausible.
I just feel like he's waiting for the Chiefs.
There's too much smoke. I do believe the Bills are sitting out there too. I'm not buying this Titans, Patriots. Those are fallbacks to me. But do I think the Bills make a play? Yes, because why? They're desperate.
They keep trying. No, the Bills are not going to make a play because
they keep away from the Chiefs, but they're desperate. They're mentioned.
It is clearly just them that keeps leaking. We'd like Hopkins. Like, yeah, he doesn't want you. Quentin can say, I want Kate Upton as much as he wants. It doesn't mean she's interested. I think it's fairly obvious at this point DeAndre Hopkins is interested in 3 teams. Tennessee, New England, and the Chiefs. And the team he actually wants is the Chiefs. And the reason why he hasn't signed with Tennessee or New England is because he wants to sign with the Chiefs. And he has to wait until Chris Jones signs a long-term extension with Kansas City in order to come here.
And these other teams are probably pissed at this point. You would think
if they get up here, they're going to feel kind of snake bit.
They'd pull the contract. Say, you know what? We're not going to sit here and play your games. Here's the offer. It's on the table. Either sign it or go on.
Why would they do that, though? They actually need him way more than Kansas City
does. I'm just saying, but do they? Are they going anywhere? Is New England or Tennessee actually going anywhere this year?
No, but they got to feel like they have to tell themselves they are, Bink. You and I both know they're not. But they have to tell themselves they are, and they have to say that this is the kind of player that can push them over the top so that they are somewhat competitive.
But yes, I am with you that I do see genuine interest from the Chiefs, and usually when they're interested,
they're serious.
There's something more there because they're
not pretending interest. They are actually interested in DeAndre
They haven't said,
Hopkins.
we're good. We're good. Have you heard that?
No.
Do I think they'll still go with what they have? Yeah, 100% they will. They're ready to dance whoever they got. But what's one reason you could not even worry about your number one? You don't have question marks. You got an exclamation mark because you know exactly who your number one receiver is with an extension of Chris Jones. You've got your one.
Somebody was listening to the show earlier said instead of snow cones, maybe we can just get him an ice cream fruit roll-up quesadilla thing.
Oh, fruit roll-up things?
Dude.
That might be the only time that I would accept that just because it would be so cold and nice, but I might vomit afterwards.
I still just don't understand the combination. Part of the appeal of a fruit roll-up is its chewiness. I don't want it frozen. If I wanted a frozen thing, I would eat a frozen thing. I don't need that texture combination.
I feel like if a fruit roll-up is frozen, it's going to like be brittle, and then you're going to bite into it, and then it's immediately just going to get stuck to your gums worse than that because the ice cream is in there. I agree with you. It's a horrible decision.
Is there any part, because the text line is mentioning this from the 816, said, I personally don't think we need him to win. I have a good feeling about Rice and some of these young guys. Is there any part of you that thinks the Chiefs really don't need DeAndre Hopkins? Because I wish I were there. I really do.
Can they win 11 or 12 games without him? Yeah.
Yeah, well, duh. That's not the argument I'm making.
Postseason is when you need him. I mean, just like with Sammy Watkins. Like Sammy Watkins in the early season, one guy, you needed him for, they even said that afterwards. Well, we needed him for the postseason. I do believe, I'm in the camp of making Mahomes' life easy. I am. He's your highest paid commodity. He's why your team wins. He's why you have 2 Super Bowl trophies. Well, they have 3, but 2 with him, is Mahomes. And that Friday night was all about Mahomes. I remember sitting in the center block. We're doing a draft show. Me and Chris and Nick saying, all right, make tonight about Mahomes. And they did. It was Rashee Rice, Juan Morris that night. That's it. It's just Friday night, 2 picks. Make it about Mahomes. And this is a total Mahomes get. How do we make this life easier? It's with the here's the thing, there's no question marks. Like right now, you do have legitimate question marks at wide receiver. Name me one real exclamation mark they have. Like MVS, you never know from time to time. Kadarius Toney, question mark, because you're unsure with the health. Sky Moore, you think you know he's going the right direction. You feel good about that. Rashee Rice, you want to wait and see. He's going to be a rookie. Richie James showed some promise.
Yeah.
But what is a lock solid exclamation mark? DeAndre Hopkins would be that.
The way I view it is, there's a chance. Like, Bink, there's a decent chance they won't need DeAndre Hopkins. You know, like that's plausible.
But it
requires
elevates your receivers, elevates Travis Kelce, elevates Mahomes, elevates everybody.
It just eliminates any possibility that you don't. You know? It's like saying, okay, let's say you're a huge optimist and you're like, there's a 50% chance. I think it'd be a pretty big optimist. 50% chance they don't need D-Hop in anyway. Sky Moore's going to take a step up. Tony's going to stay healthy the whole year. You're going to see enough out of Rashee Rice and these other guys, and you got Travis Kelce. So 50, 60% chance, you don't even need the guy anymore.
And you're banking on no injuries.
Yeah, but let's just say you're an optimist. With DeAndre Hopkins, it's 100%. You 100% have no questions at wide receiver anymore. Because you only need really one of those things to come true. You just need Kadarius Toney to stay healthy or Sky Moore to step up or Richie James to step up. The end. That's it.
Fight for number 2.
I think right now you have 4 questions at wide receiver and you need 2 things to come true. If DeAndre Hopkins shows up, you need 0. You need 0 things to come true. You just need DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the wide receiver unit to be pretty good. That's it. By the way, Binkley, there's multiple people on Twitch today who said this is the first time they've seen your face. They're happy to get to know what you look like. This is Jay Binkley.
Hi, Twitch.
You got to be on video.
You should have watched that Virtual Royals we did. We was on with Twitch with that.
Were you on Twitch for that?
Me and Cream Dog.
Was your face on it or just the game?
No, it was. We had a little corner up there. It wasn't very big. It was in the corner.
Little corner bug? You know,
corner.
COVID times, a little bit different.
That's the only thing. It was the only thing going. There was no sports except for fake games.
Weird time for sports radio, it turns out. The lack of sports. That's why we watched Tiger King and stuff.
It's why we were doing a video
Did you ever watch, wasn't there like a second season of Tiger King? Did anybody watch it?
I did not.
Did anybody watch? Everybody watched the first season. I assume
I was too busy chasing toilet paper.
Watched the first season.
I was so desperate for content, I watched marble racing.
Oh, man, I did watch one.
Yeah.
Did you stay up and watch Korean baseball?
No.
I did.
I did choose a squad. I did choose a squad for that, but I didn't watch very much.
Do you know what they
I chose
compete
the one
for?
Managed by Trey Hillman.
Do you know what they compete for in Korean baseball? Their trophy's a sword.
Have you seen that, Bink?
The sword?
Yes.
I did not. Wait, you know what? Maybe they showed it one game order, but I did stay
I'm telling you right now.
It's awesome.
And I watched a lot of the cornhole tournaments.
Bags.
Reruns poker. With some poker on Zoom.
Honestly, now that I'm thinking about the sword again, I can't believe that is not the trophy for like the home run derby winner or the All-Star game MVP.
It's awesome.
Why wouldn't more people not do trophy and instead for at least the special ones, right?
Yeah.
Fine, you got an established trophy that looks like a trophy for the World Series. I get it. It's a very cool trophy. Stick with it. But let's say the winner of the home run derby. Bink, you telling me right now? That can't be the winner of the home run derby.
That's pretty badass.
It's a big-ass sword. It looks straight out of Game of Thrones. I mean, I don't know which player wouldn't want that.
You talk about getting the most out of your players. Tell them that they're going to get a freaking sword if they win.
I don't know what you do with it in the meantime. But I don't know what you do with it in your house.
You just hang it on the wall.
You just put it next to your bed like people who sleep with a bat if they're going to be out of town.
Oh, could you? Yeah. Home defense with the sword.
Who'd you say your team was in the KBO? The Doosan Bears?
No, it's the Wyverns.
Oh, the Samsung Lions. I think I like them too.
That was your squad? Samsung Lions?
I think it was. Samsung Lions.
No,
or was it the NC Dinos?
No, it was not the NC Dinos. I told you. It was the team that had been, it was the SK Wyverns. It was the team managed at one time by Trey Hillman.
I thought he was in Japan.
He was in Japan as well, but I was choosing a Korean baseball.
Did you ever hear Trey Hillman's Christmas album?
No, what?
We played it a long time ago.
Trey Hillman had a Christmas album?
He was like, wasn't he assistant with the Dodgers for a while?
Yeah.
Because they were
He's also Brett Phillips' father-in-law.
Yeah, they were wanting a copy of it. The Dodgers wanted a copy of this Christmas album, Trey Hillman.
Sometimes you say things, Bink, and I know you're not lying, but it's hard to believe you.
But I say weird things, but weird
so
things.
wait, he has a Christmas album?
Yes. A lot of I don't make stuff up. It does sound weird. It does sound stupid, but it's right.
I know. I believe you. I believe it's true.
Look it up. Look it up on YouTube.
You just
look it
Can
up
you
on
find
YouTube.
it?
Look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
Trey Hillman.
Do you have a link?
What do you with the Nippon Ham Fighters?
Yes.
But Trey Hillman has an album.
But I don't see it on YouTube. Do you see it?
I'm not on YouTube. I'm on Google.
Now,
I heard the
you're
Trey
gonna
Hillman
derail the
album.
last 2 minutes of the show because I want to find a Trey Hillman Christmas album, but I don't know anything about it or where it is. If somebody can find it later, please send it to my DMs on Twitter at CodyBTap. They're open.
We need it tomorrow for bump music.
Christmas in July.
Yeah, Cody, if this exists, you need to do some sort of a new version of one of those songs. That needs to be your next song. Taking the audio, like changing, using the same music, but coming up with a new audio for the Christmas song.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'm sure somebody knows it.
I guess if someone can find it, let me know.
I'll be searching for this thing.
Okay. I guess let me know.
Joe West has one too. You'll dump Joe West, Cowboy Joe West. He's got an album. He's got an album as well. Look up Joe West songs.
No, I'm still working on the Trey Hillman ones, Bink. I'm completely distracted towards the end of the show because I don't see a single person talking about it other than, like, I just typed in Trey Hillman
We got a hold
Christmas.
of it. We got a hold of it.
Well, where is it? Is
I don't
it like
know.
in a CD form?
It's
How
not-
did you have it?
I don't know how I had it. I had it. I
Someone
don't know
wrote
how
an
I had
entire
it, but I did have
Ringer
it.
article about the interesting life of Trey Hillman.
So someone saw it in the Ringer article.
No, that guy who wrote the article, someone responded and said, "Have you heard his Christmas music?" And he's like, "No," which means I guess I failed as a reporter because he wrote an entire article about how Trey Hillman is an interesting person, only to find out he also did Christmas music, and apparently nobody knows where it is. So I guess if you find it, let us know because at the very least now I'm curious. Is Trey Hillman You
never heard Joe West either?
No, Joe West sucks. I don't want to listen to his Christmas. It just as a person.
Could you imagine being so interesting that a Christmas album is at the bottom of your list of like things people know you for?
I think it was Christmas. I mean, what else would he sing about? It wasn't like a regular album. Somebody will find it.
I hope, man. I'll a prize. I don't know what kind. I'll get you tickets to something. Just if somebody finds this, you're the first person to send it to me. I'll have a prize for you. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll figure it out. Don't worry about that. Little breaking news here in the NFL before we end the show. Alvin Kamara, by the way, Bink, has officially pled no contest to a lesser misdemeanor on breach of the peace for that incident that took place in Las Vegas of February of last year. The alleged victim's attorney also announced a $10 million civil suit has been settled on confidential terms. So probably not for the full $10 million, but maybe for amount. But as you know, he can still be suspended under the league's conduct policy and probably will be. My guess is it'll be somewhere between 2 and 6 games. You know, somewhere in
Easily. Appeal it down to 4.
Yeah. It's somewhere between there. Typically when you get in kind of trouble with like, there's, big enough personal stuff that includes assault or these other things, those things tend to get, 2 to 6 games kind of depending on.
I just got a text from Cream Dog,
Okay.
big baseball guy.
He's got it?
He goes, I know about Trey Hillman and Cowboy Joe West music. And I
Well,
said,
find it for me,
I said,
Kramer.
we need for tomorrow, Kramer. Kramer, calling you out, brother. Find us this Trey Hillman music because we need it.
Appreciate the time, Bink. You'll be back with me tomorrow.
That's right.
Thanks to Q on the other side.
Oh, look, there's look at the last text.
Somebody got it for me?
Looks like it. Yahoo Auctions.
Yahoo Auctions. This site is all in Korean.
In this harbor town.
Is the album even on here?
He did it overseas. He did it when he was over there.
Okay, this is going to require further research. Thanks for joining us on the show today. The Drive's coming up next.
She serves them whiskey and wine. They'll say, brandy, you're a fine girl.